North American stock futures, little change this morning ahead of key CPI data just coming out here for the month of August. We're still waiting the month-over-month and year-over-year number. We'll bring that to you as soon as they populate here. But as we said, futures little changed after a nice bounce-back day yesterday for U.S. markets right across the board, all three. Well, we had the S&P and the Dow back in positive territory. The NASDAQ was a bit of a laggard at the end of the day, but a 5-session losing streak snapped for both the S&P and the Dow. It's Apple Day, if you had forgotten. We're going to get a new iPhone today, possibly. We're not going to get one, but the world will. AirPods and possibly also other products. We'll talk about Apple coming up here. Not doing a heck of a lot in the pre-market, but worth a look anyways. Open Door, big move to the downside on an offering this morning. We'll talk about Open Door and Oracle, the only real earnings report of note, trading lower as well despite some decent numbers for Oracle. It's Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. So a slight delay there with that number, but 0.3% versus 0.4% expected on the month-over-month number. You can see 0.3 versus 0.4. Again, this is the August CPI, Consumer Price Index number, and then the year-over-year exactly in line with expectations. So they were expecting a little bit higher inflation once again, but looks like we're basically in line to a little bit lower. You can see on the month-over-month number, so that technically should be decent for stocks. There we go. Look at how things stand at this point. 0.3% for the S&P, the Dow still a little red, the NASDAQ trying to get back to the upside as well. Bitcoin, nice move this morning so far, 2% to the upside. Ethereum following suit, up about 1% so far as well. Yeah, nice spike here for the futures, guys, on that number. So we get a little bit lower inflation. Lower inflation than expected. On the month-over-month, the year-over-year number in line with expectations.
Hey, man, that's all it takes. It just feels like, everybody was saying, oh, no, watch out for it to be worse than expected. And, of course, that wouldn't have been necessarily great for the market because then you get possibly earlier taper talk and the easing from the Fed, and that can start the raising the rates, all that other nonsense that the market is not too interested in spoiling the party so far. So it's not a huge move to the upside, just looking at the NASDAQ. The ES here trading up 15 points or so. It's not gigantic, but the NASDAQ is well up, maybe, 50, 60 points in positive territory. We'll see if that actually ends up continuing here today. There's a lot of big movers. Clearly, if you're looking pre-market here, there's definitely some of these, and I don't say meme or squeeze stocks, led by Life up 24% now and continuing to run towards the top. So there's still a lot of those going on here, Sean. Congratulations on the win.
Yep.
Mark Andrews, absolute dud fest for me last night. But apparently I missed a really good game, though.
Yeah, I went into overtime.
Well, entertaining game.
I think it was a pretty good game. Yeah, I watched pretty much the whole game. It was a fun one. Congratulations to the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow, I had to say that for the first time. That looks like a fun stadium to be into there. Just unbelievable. 70,000 in Vegas. Everybody drink and have a great time. But welcome to fantasy football. I'm 4-0 now in my 2 leagues. So completely different teams. So that's nice when you do that. Today we'll be, welcome. We're going to trade some Smile Direct. We talked about Smile Direct yesterday. And then now today it's up again another, 3 or 4%, 6% right now, making some more moves here off the CPI number. So we're going to watch out for some of these. And there's that number that we just talked about there, 0.3 versus 0.4. So I guess maybe inflation's a little bit more under control than the market thought. I don't know. We'll see. There's a few numbers there. I guess we thought it was going to be a lot worse. Looks like it came out, I guess, as expected. I thought I saw 0.3, but there was a few numbers that came out. Anyways, there it goes to the upside. So it's a nice little move up in the market. We are going to be looking at Apple today, and we talked about that with 1 p.m. their live stream. Ooh, it got a nice little bump up there as well. So, oh, come on, let's go charts. There it is, nice Apple bump up to 151, and it's been stuck in a range, and that's what we're trying to look at right now on the 10-minute chart. If we zoom this back out, well, we'll do it when we talk about Apple. I got to get my charts right, but we've been stuck here between 151 basically and 149 the last couple of days. So we'll see if we go in and out through Apple, Brendan. It should be a fun day.
Everything I was reading aftermarket yesterday was pointing to basically the end of the world on the inflation front on that number expected this morning. But yeah, much better. Again, the month over month, a little better than expected. The year over year, exactly in line with expectations. Before we go any further, let's get over to Miss V's desk and say good morning to her.
Good morning, team. It's going to be a very interesting and exciting day. I wish you all the luck, and please support the show and smash the like button. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. Lots to discuss here. Just reading FedEx and Salesforce partnering to deliver fast and easy shipping. Did that have any effect on Salesforce? It doesn't look like it. Not a heck of a lot of volume. Well, a little bit of a pop here, guys. So yeah, FedEx teaming up with CRM, it would appear. Not a lot of volume here, 20,000 shares, but 20,000 shares enough to move this $3.50 right out of the gate here.
Well, remember, it also is probably moving on that number as well.
Yeah, a little bit on the number.
Yeah, we didn't really see anything happen when that came out. And then all of a sudden, right there at, let's see, CRM, so that's still Apple. I was looking at CRM on my other charts. CRM and FedEx, again, it looks like, so that's, yeah, like you mentioned there, Brendan, 20,000 shares on the go right now. Wow, I don't know if I got a, and right there, yeah, so it moved, so basically the move starts at 8:30, 8:32, maybe even starts getting, yeah, so I don't know, looking at that, I'm not really seeing that that's probably due to the number, but we'll wait to see here. CRM's been faded off a lot here in the last couple of days. We've seen now 6 straight negative days in the NASDAQ. I love Salesforce. They completed the deal there with Slack, and that was sort of what jumped that off. You could see here that we definitely based out, man, like 205, 2 teens, something like that in here in the teens. And then it's just been taking off. And it recently, made all-time highs pretty much. I mean, we got as high as 283 back in September of last year, and then just touched it just now at 275, and now starting to fade back in. As long as you're above the 50 period, I like it. I think any pullbacks in Salesforce is a buy. I mean, people are using more customer management right now.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like even if you take the disappointment in Oracle to have made like a bit of a I guess pull down overall, I don't think it did. And then you get this possibly, I don't want to say this number is going to start like a small like rally, but if it is going to start something, Salesforce is as poised as anything else in terms of current price, right in front of that 250, which look, it's resistance that turned into support since it broke. At least it's trying to in this move, and it's not a bad set of catalysts. I mean, I don't know how much that second headline is, but certainly the market moving from here looks pretty good for Salesforce. So I mean, it wasn't something that would have been on the radar. I like it on the daily chart, but as you said, 20,000 shares. You definitely can't punch into it now, despite the fact the spread isn't too bad. But if we're still around these levels and the market is still heating like this, and you can buy this one close to that 250, it's not a bad look. I just feel like Memesville is all over the place. I don't want to get too far away from Life, which is close to the high of the day right now, and then Smile Direct, which is trying to take out 650 again.
Yeah, lots to discuss on the squeeze or highly shorted stock list this morning. Let's touch on cryptos here a little bit because I just saw Bitcoin and Ethereum both had a bit of a move on that number as well. Coinbase, I just saw pop up here as well. This was earlier this morning, but they're planning on raising a $1.5 billion in a bond sale to fund future acquisitions. They were talking about that a little bit yesterday. So Coin, guys, up 2% here, better part of 2% in the pre-market as well. Just saw Mara and Riot, all the typical ones starting to make a move on that little bump for Bitcoin here in the pre-market.
Yeah, I mean, I have Ethereum chart. I'm just looking at the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ's up 0.4 again, right? So it's just as the market goes, as people start to feel a little bit better about assets and stuff like that due to the fact that maybe inflation's not running as, like you mentioned there, Brandon, every week someone's predicting the end of the world, right? And so I guess some of the bears today were hoping that number was going to be horrendously high. It doesn't look like it came out that way. So yeah, you're going to get a bump up. This is just a nice little and this is 5 minutes here starting from 8:30 on Ethereum. Yep, I was just making sure it was the right chart. So we're going to take out that recent high right now of 33.60 that's just made this morning. And yeah, just a nice little bump off that 3,200. I still think Ethereum right around 3,200 is a decent buy. We've talked about that over and over again. It did go down to what, 2,900? If I go to a daily chart here, we'll see that most recent dip down right here. Down to, yeah, there it is, down to there at 2,900. It looks like we're basing out here at 3K. So, I mean, I don't have like I said, if you're not in crypto, I think you can nibble at these levels. I still think we could test a little bit higher. Obviously, if you have any dry powder and we get them out near 2,000 again, I think that's a buying spot here for Ethereum as well. There are some concerns, of course, that the blockchain, especially Ethereum's, isn't super fast and is a little bit expensive. So there are some side tokens like Matic and different things that look to solve some of those problems. So whether or not you want to buy Ethereum or Bitcoin, or apparently yesterday Litecoin, and we could check in on Litecoin as well right now. It's not doing anything, which is fine. It's at 177 right now. So if you go to a daily chart here, and if you're just joining us, you're waking up and you're like, hey, what happened to Litecoin recently? Well, yesterday at about this time, we ripped up to 250 there on Litecoin and took out its monthly high there of 230. And then we fell all the way back down because there was a false report that Walmart and Litecoin were possibly getting some deals done there. And they were going to accept some of their coins or some of the Litecoin for payment. That, I guess, got squashed by both parties. So now Litecoin just back down here chilling out. So we'll wait to see what we do here. But, for me, the crypto's not really moving, but I do think that we're in an area of stability at least.
Yeah, the area of stability, I think, makes a ton of sense to me. I love the fact we held 44. Ethereum holding at 32, 33 level. Coinbase was a miss for me yesterday. Well, I want to say it's a miss because I was looking to fade Coinbase off of that 50 to 55 area. You can sort of see that's exactly what it gave you on the morning. Right at 9:30, actually, it tried to spike up and take that 250 level, enter that target range, and then fall back to the downside. Now that you're getting this bump up, it kind of works almost in the other direction. Like if it's going to hold that move down, and then we're going to put in essentially what was the same pre-market low as yesterday gets put in here today, and then now I'd be looking for like a 250-ish type break. I would love it if we're consolidating at 48 or 49 a little bit better, but beggars can't be choosers. 250 does always stand out to me. It seems like it's almost always a level, but remember it's also the reference price for Coinbase. I don't know that I'd never want, actually, unless I'm buying the dip, I don't want Coinbase in the pre-market, so I'm not a stop order that I would put in until the market opens up, and I did just get into that life as it broke the high. I was sort of putting in the chat there. This one's been a big runner, and just looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to wait for like a 12. It's already started to go a couple of times here. So when it took out the recent high, I'm like, okay, we'll give it a shot. I think you're not necessarily wrong till it gets back about to that quarter spot. Not one I want to be adding to in the pre-market, so it'll be like a one shot and done type of thing here. One shot and done for this trade. We could always be buying dips or making other trades later, but with 45 minutes to go until the open, not one that I necessarily need to be digging into. Smile Direct is going sideways, so we can hang on to that one. But yeah, there's quite a bit moving already. Oh my goodness, see GameStop starting to get off its bottom just a little bit too as well.
All right, let's bring in Jeff Mendel, VP of OTC Markets, to discuss some opportunities on the over-the-counter markets. Jeff, good to see you as always. Thanks for doing this once again. We appreciate your time. There's a rule change coming into effect at the end of this month, the 28th to be exact, on OTC markets. I can show you just the headline here, at least, to give everyone an idea of what we're talking about. This Rule 15C-211. Again, September 28th, going to be the effective date for this rule. Give everyone a rundown here of what this will affect. Is there anything we need to understand fully as traders, as short-term investors in companies that trade on OTC, and maybe just give an explanation of this rule.
Brendan, thanks again for the great intro, as always, right? And so, so 15C-211 is not a new rule. It's been around for a long time, but there are changes coming. And as you said, on September 28th, right, it's actually going to be pretty significant for a subset of symbols in our marketplace. But why don't we jump into what 15C-211 actually is? So 15C-211 are the guidelines around brokers quoting in symbols, because we've talked about this in the past, right? When you see a broker's quote or when you see, something in your level 2, like, one of those market makers in your level 2 or OTCX in your level 2, those are actually quotes, right? They aren't orders like they are in NASDAQ or NYSE. And so, high level 15C-211 governs those quotes and how those brokers can put those quotes into an IDQS. And as we've talked about in the past, OTC markets is an interdealer quotation system, or an IDQS. Anyway though, okay. So how's this actually going to affect what you guys do at Day Trade the World? So there's going to be a subset of symbols that are no longer qualified to actually publicly quote in our marketplace. And so basically what that means is you won't see a quote in these names. And the names that are going to be affected are potentially, right, because everyone has time to always put in their info, but companies that are not reporting or fully reporting to the SEC right now today. So one of those names actually is Luckin Coffee. So if you want to bring up a chart in Luckin, we can just kind of run through that.
And not to put you on the spot here, Jeff, but is there criteria? Is there a price limit? Is it volume based? What is going to matter when it comes to what will be affected on the symbol basis?
So it's all around being current in your SEC filings, right? And so that means are you putting up your financials, right? Are you keeping up to date with all your regulatory requirements, right? And so one of the things that we're actually going to be able to do now under the new regulation or new regulatory framework is we are going to be considered a qualified inter-dealer quotation system. And so we will actually become a part of that process, right? So now firms or issuers, right, companies can come to us and actually file and disclose that information on our website. We'll process it, we'll run through everything, and then we'll be that portal, we'll be that medium for firms to actually be able to do that.
We appreciate the information, Jeff. We'll have you back the day of. In fact, I was just looking at the calendar. So Tuesday, or the 28th is in fact a Tuesday. So we'll have you back on the 28th. We'll talk about this a little bit that day and give people an understanding as well. Let's talk trading. How has the month of September started for those symbols that we typically discuss when it comes to volume, some opportunities on the OTC? Give us a rundown here of what we should be looking at.
I mean, obviously, you guys were talking about it earlier. ETHE, GBTC, are Ethereum and Bitcoin trackers, right? Those names have been absolutely going crazy. We saw GBTC and Ethereum both spike up pretty good. I believe it was last week, and now they're kind of coming off those month highs. But lots of volume in those names. Keep an eye on them. Also, Tencent has been kind of lurking in the to the side a little bit, but lots of activity over there as well too. So kind of our three main names remain strong right now. If there's anything else that pops up too, I'll definitely jump into the chat, because now it's September and a little bit more liquidity coming back into the market. I'd say over the next couple of weeks we'll definitely see an increase as well too.
We appreciate the info as always, Jeff. We have had a few inquiries on that rule, so we wanted to get a little clarification this morning. And again, guys, that's September 28th. That amendments will come into effect. So we'll have Jeff back on that morning and give you a rundown of that rule again. Jeff Mendel, VP OTC Markets. Thanks for doing this again.
Thanks, Brendan.
There we go, guys. Sean, you are a frequent trader of OTC markets. Give us your thoughts here. This is, as Jeff was saying, going to be a significant change as far as what is quoted, how stocks are quoted. So if anyone is a frequent trader of OTC listings, definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was going to maybe mention to him about the LTCN, which is the Litecoin I guess, ETF that popped off yesterday up to $23 there, now back down to 16, just like and again, that's an easy way. We talked about Ethereum and Bitcoin all the way, but LTCN, if you're going to learn something today, this is not a bad one to learn, especially if Litecoin starts to go and you don't want to buy any coins on exchange. You can buy them off exchange and hold something in a grayscale product. That's LTCN. But to answer your question, Brendan, about Luckin Coffee and how this may change. I mean, Luckin Coffee's been actually a pretty great trade, for the last couple of days. I don't know what the news was here, but $13 up to $17 as some of these Chinese names start to feel a little bit better about themselves. I mean, it looks like Luckin definitely is there. And you know what? Quoting to me, and you're right, because we do look at these names a little bit, especially when like a Hertz Global will go down there or a Luckin Coffee will go down, and we always say this on the show, and that is that the pink sheets are very, very important to trade, because when there's volume on a name that just recently gets listed, then you can go over there, and some of these names will do hundreds of millions of shares. And to me, it's all about the quoting. So, you could see OTCX right here at 91 and then another one at 98. So they're making the market there. It's going to be interesting. I haven't done enough research to properly comment. I see what Jeff was saying there, that some names, especially ones that aren't reporting properly to the SEC, may get pulled or may have their trades restricted, so on and so forth. So us being a prop firm here at Day Trade the World, we're going to have to find out what our broker, how they're going to treat this ruling and how it does affect us. But yeah, maybe we talk a little bit less about them, or maybe we talk more about them. I mean, the good thing is most of the volume, and again, here, let me just call up this for Jeff here as well. And this is what I was going to go to with him. But if you just go to the OTC Market website and you click on current market, up here, market activity, and then you can go to current market right there. It's going to show you names that do a lot of the volume, and most of the volume that's done here are big time names. So ETHE, GBTC, and the Grayscale products. So that's Ethereum and Bitcoin. Then you have Tencent there as well. A big, huge name in China. I mean, almost just as big as some of the huge tech names that we have here, right? And so on and so forth. So Volkswagen on here. So, there's lots of names, Adidas, Roche, so much, Nintendo, that really aren't going to be affected, from what I can understand, how he was explaining that there, Jeff, that, not much is going to happen to these names. And I think that that's really the key. I love, how else can you get into, unless you're going to go on Japan, get into the Nintendo and things like that. They keep a solid quote. When the charts load, you'll see, and the volatility is not really there in some of these names. There's some A-class blue chip names over there on the OTC market. So for me, I'm hoping not much changes, because, we still want to look at a lot of these bigger names. And, I look forward to new regulations and see how they actually do affect the market.
Yeah, this is why we do this education for you guys, just so you know, because not everyone trades it, certainly, but it's always good to have fantastic guests like Jeff. But there are some interesting upgrades and downgrades here, Brendan, to talk about. One on the downgrade column that should surprise nobody.
Not the first time. That was my pen, if anyone was wondering. Not the first time. Yeah, there's Virgin over here, guys. To the downside, once again, UBS cutting price targets once again for Virgin Galactic, BHP, Applied Materials on here as well. Alcoa, Oracle, Palo Alto, and KLA. On the upgrade side, guys.
Brendan just dropping things today, but never, ever dropping the ball. I'll tell you that much. Okay, I'm going to show an AMAT chart. But the stock I was talking about should surprise nobody. The downgrade would be Virgin Galactic, right. I think. We've been talking about.
Moving.
No, it's not moving, and that's why it's still not getting that downward move past that 23 area to get you to those teens or even the 20s. But AMAT, and it's just, there's a lot of names in sort of the tech space that have been sort of barcoding off the top, like in Applied Materials, which it was a fantastic play. The second the chip shortage was news, it's obviously been a good play as a parts supplier there. But unless you picked it up last year or you were picking it up, back when we were talking about this name post earnings in that 120 area, there's just not a heck of a lot happening. And I think when you get these hard tops, and notwithstanding the fact that we're rallying a little bit in the market or moving up in the bit of the market here, you just essentially, people will say price to perfection, but you need a catalyst to drive us through. And maybe it's going to mean a breakout in tech or some positive headwinds when it comes to some positive tailwinds when it comes to the shortage. I don't know whether you're going to get that. You saw with Oracle, it wasn't all bad, but still they're not going anywhere. So AMAT just feels like a name that could be worth a bit of a trim, wait for it to break out or wait for it to track down towards that 115, 120. But if I had to look at the names in the portfolio that I might consider taking some profit on, AMAT is near the top of that list.
I'll talk about Virgin Galactic here. We shorted that yesterday, and wound up losing on that short.
I think it wasn't same trade.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It just broke the bottom. I'll show you the daily chart there. And then we reversed a little long and took like 20 cents on the long, but still a negative trade for us yesterday. And then look, we're right sort of at these spots again. $24. UBS with the price target cut today. Do you remember? Sorry, Brendan. Do you still have what that cut price target?
26.
26.
Yeah,
okay, so basically, not really giving us much to work with, because it's right here. And I mean, even yesterday, we didn't even rally. I mean, basically, once we broke some of those levels there, we'll look at a 10-minute chart here. It didn't do much, man. It only went to 24.80 there. This is a 10-minute chart. So, you know, anything up on the high side here, if the market rallies, I think a short for space would be pretty good. I think there's a long coming, and it's going to be like a rip your face off long, but that's going to have to come once that FAA, you know, says that they're all clear sort of on what they were doing on their landing procedures and whatnot. They didn't like how that last trip up and down with Branson went there. So they're going to have to wait for that. And then that's going to be a 26 break. And then this is what really got us yesterday, was breaking these levels here, a multi-day low of 23.82. It was on the watch list yesterday. We followed our trade and we took it. And it was fine in the beginning, you know, like it went down nicely for us, as you can see here. We went from 77 down to 56. I had a bid at 56. It missed me by 2 pennies. And then that basically turned around. So I think if we're going to be a little bit conservative on this play, you short it like now, and then you wait to see about getting out near these places. I wouldn't be smashing short here, not in an up market, not on a stock that's already resisted. Yesterday was a down day, and space, I believe, was close to flat on the day on the close, and that's what it's going to be today too. So I don't know, Virgin Galactic there. I know Neil's talking about AMAT. I'm not a huge fan of any trade today in space unless we can somehow short it, you know, close enough to that 26 level.
Yeah, market holding right at session high so far as well. So definitely some strength in the overall eyeing market. Let's have a look at what else is moving around. I keep seeing some volume alerts going off. Let's have a look at what's going on in the pre-market here, guys. If you are looking for our watch list, that is the link you need. All you need is an email address, and you can have that for free every single morning. Going to be a busy one here, it looks like, guys. There's quite a few things that are moving around here so far. Let's talk Apple, one that is not really doing a heck of a lot, but definitely worth a watch heading into the event this afternoon. If you missed it, it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern, live streamed. We'll get all the latest fancy products from Apple.
Sure. Like, and it might be one of those situations where it's not the Fed number or anything, but where it's just going to exactly follow the market until we actually get something at 1 o'clock and they actually open up the presentation. So there was a bump, and you're going to see a little bit of a bump, and that has nothing to do with anything but at 8:30 the market going into the upside, and Apple firmly within the range of the last couple of sessions here. Of course, you did have the announcement on Friday and then that big drop, and I was trying to bottom pick it the whole way through fighting the stock. But that bottom is held, and it's like a 149-ish, well, 148.75 area. And then right back up to the initial recovery on Friday, right to 151. That still remains the top. I'd be a little bit shocked. I mean, the only way I see us breaking 151 before 1 o'clock would be a continuation of this move, and then maybe getting to yesterday's highs in the NASDAQ, like 15.5, 15.6, and then you could be breaking that 151 area in Apple. I don't necessarily want to be taking a breakout on announcement day. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a chance to maybe even buy a dip at 1 o'clock. But the overall market is it's weird to me because you can just play the overall market, and I'm really laser focused on these higher flyer names that are moving around a little bit more so than an Apple. But if there is an opportunity later on in the session to look at that 149 bottom and bounce off there, as long as the market's still holding green, especially post announcement when volume comes in, I'd love to be able to do that.
Yeah, I tweeted out here basically the same thing here, that Apple has just been range bound from 149 to 151. We're going to have to look for a break at 1 p.m. the live stream coming up there. So we did talk about that, and we'll just wait for that to happen. I mean, other than that, I don't really, oh, come on, chart. Oh, God. Oh, God, now it's stuck on .ny. Oh, this is going to be too much. Okay, so, looking at a 10-minute range here, this is what we're talking about. There's that 151 top, and there's the 148. I mean, I said 151 to 149. I mean, I guess 148.50. The lowest we've gotten was 148.70. And this is all from that ruling, right? We had that court ruling there where the judge ruled that, hey, they're not a monopoly. They don't have monopolistic practices, but they have to start putting, I mean, this is what I took from it, that they have to start putting links and stuff like that. They have to allow links to companies' websites and stuff like that in their app stores. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. And I thought that we would be seeing Apple upgrades and downgrades a little bit off of that report. And not just that, but price target cuts or some sort of analysis, and I haven't really seen that much, and I think people are probably waiting for today. So, and again, my theory on Apple when they release their phones and things like that is just that they never please everybody, and it's always like, oh, they forgot to add this, or we thought that it was going to be a flip phone, or we thought that, I don't know, whatever, Bluetooth 8.0 was going to be in. Like, just something's going to happen that's going to turn investors a little sour. That's generally what happens. But, it could be the other way. Maybe the phone comes out a little bit less expensive than people thought. Maybe the availability is a little bit earlier. So we don't really want to trade this until that time happens. And then we're just going to watch. Any sort of a break at 148.75, I think you punch that to the low side. And any break higher above 151, we take that as well. But these are 1 p.m. plays. So as the market's going to open up here, it's actually a little disturbing. Not disturbing, but Apple, like, that's not that big of a move. Like, considering the NASDAQ, bumped up here, you're up 0.35, Apple up 0.49, that's fine. I thought Apple would have ran a little bit more on that CPI, as obviously they're a consumer product business. So, up to 150, I guess a lot of their inputs aren't really affected by CPI too much, but 150.50 to the upside there, that could be a good break if you're bullish before the live stream.
Speaking of the overall market, let's bring in Arun here and get a check of the futures off to day highs, or trying to at least get back towards session highs here, Arun, for the market.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. As Sean mentioned, Apple, keep in mind, Apple is going to move the market whenever it starts going, right? Because it's got a big portion of the indexes, 10%, just about 10% on the NASDAQ, somewhere close to 5 on the S&P 500. So big influencer in the index game. Now, in terms of the indexes themselves, I'm starting to notice some activity from yesterday. It's really weird. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here. There's a lot of program trading, big batches of buying and selling happening. And you saw that in waves yesterday, and that's very difficult to trade. So 44.90 is what I've got up top, and 44.35 I've got down below as the 2 levels. But I mean, they're levels, but that's it. I need a lot more confirmation in front of these levels. I need some trading activity. I need to make sure programs aren't going to step in. There's a lot that needs to happen before I can take a trade in front of these levels. You saw that move up a CPI. That was about a 17, 18 point move, right off some, I guess, mid support levels, just above 50 that we had from yesterday. But again, 44.35 is the bottom end, but then that's only there because it's the low. That's the only reason. And then 44.90, that's actually got some resistance up top. But again, like I said, there's a lot happening behind the scenes. I imagine that some of it has to do with the rollover positions being rotated over, and there's a big batch of buying and selling that needs to be done either as a hedge or some other large institution is doing it. And the other side you can also look at is there's a large imbalance coming out, not imbalance, rebalance coming out on Friday, which could be positioning in front of that as well. So there's a couple things there. Then you have to worry about Apple as well, and their event, and given the influence they have. So just tread carefully. You have the 2 levels to work with. Just make sure that if you decide to take a shot, that you got confirmation, you get some pretty good confidence as well in that shot. Given the activity, it's kind of treacherous, at least for now, until things settle down a bit and all the big moves have been done on the back end. I think you just want to be a little bit careful in this market.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Just reading Goldman, guys. Goldman Sachs naming Dennis Coleman new CFO. Their current CFO retiring at the end of this year. No movement on GS, but a heads up. Open Door Technologies with an offering announced, guys. It's SVF Excalibur, which is an initial investor in the company looking to reduce their stake. So quite a large share sale here for OPEN.
Open Door.
I kind of thought thered be, I mean, I guess post-offering, sometimes you don't actually get a lot of volatility the next day. So, I mean, it's down 5%, but it is the definition of barcoding in the pre-market. Even though it's, okay, so this is a good reason why, you'll see actual, maybe a couple of million shares worth of volume. The overwhelming majority of that is just one overnight print that got dumped at 8 o'clock. So it might seem like when you just look at your level 2 or whatever you have in your system, that Open Door is actually doing volume pre-market. It really isn't. It's not doing a heck of a lot of anything at this particular time. But it's not a dissimilar chart from some of these, I guess, beaten up names that have made bottoms and is trying to break out, which is what it was doing, and probably the reason why you're going to do the offering. But it jumps right back down into some support at 1665 or so, You can pull it back and sort of see, this is what we're sort of talking about. You had a bit of a breakout, and you're going all the way back to, I guess, late August. Around that 1650, it reverses at 20. We're still holding up pretty nicely. It's to me, it's not going to be an interesting stock unless it breaks down at 1650. If you got a good consolidation on volume 17 break, that would look pretty good as an acceptance of the offering. But even that, I think you're looking 50 to 60 cents at absolute best. So you want volume to be behind this, and I don't really see a heck of a lot of it. So the levels look pretty enticing down here. Probably on lower volume, probably more to the downside, but there's still the chance that things pick up going into the open, and then you have a chance at this 17 break here. And this was a couple people asked in the chat. Yeah, like I moved my stop to 1150 on Smile Direct. I apologize. I thought I'd put that in the chat there, but I'll just say it out. So I moved my stop on Life to on Life to 1150, not Smile Direct. I might have said SDC, but yeah, it's 1150 stop on Life. Obviously, an 1150 stop on Smile Direct wouldn't make any sense.
I was just reading, some guy said, this is funny, jam on it here. I was just going through some Twitter because, I don't know. It was just,
did you see this?
I did it.
It was nuts.
Some umpire there.
Oh, it's brutal, man.
Oh, no. It's actually, as long as he's okay, I mean, that's...
He got to be concussed.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, he's fine, it actually looks like. Okay. There it is, throwing.
That's a gun.
Okay. That's that. Okay. Anyways, I was just answering some tweets there because some people asked me questions on the sticky note. And I'm, man of the people, so I'm going to answer them if I can, especially as we only have 25 minutes to go here. I won't be able to, look, I don't want people to start tweeting me questions right now. It's very, very hard to do it, but I was looking at that because I was just trying to look up some stuff on Open Door as well, and that led me to that. But yeah, a move down. Neil just talked about what it's been doing in the pre-market here. I like the name. I like what they're doing. However, it's just recent SPACs. It's just one of those things where, they had a great report as we know that day we were trading this one, just ripped up. It came all the way back into this 14, 15 area or so. But that was August 19th, August 20th. I believe the report was around there. And then we just started going to the upside and turned around on 20. And now you're bouncing around. I'm still looking at that $16 mark here. It's more of a longer term play, I think. Now that you're getting, look, if you believe in it, they're changing the way, home sales and stuff like that. And again, most major SPACs are trying to change the game in some way, like a Lemonade, like a Root, like an AI, it doesn't matter. You can go over them all. Snowflake, Coinbase, everything. FinTech, SoFi, another one. SoFi Stadium there with the Rams on Sunday night was very nice. But there it is. So anyways, talking about Open Door, I think it's an investment, and I think you can buy it right now. Low 16s I think is worth buying here. You do have a 14 bottom. I think we can start to run back up as soon as some of these growth plays are back, sort of, being popular one more time. So we'll wait to see what Open Door does here. But I like it. As far as the day trade, though, for me today, yeah, let's just wait to see what happens. I don't mind taking out 1650 to go to the downside, but I know there's support at 16. So unless this is like the only name you're trading, it's probably not something that I'm super, super in love with. But Open Door right now, decent with 2 million shares. We're going to look at this off the open for sure.
Big mover yesterday, Smile Direct Club, guys. Typically trades about 6 to 6.5 million shares, traded 40 plus on Monday. S3 Partners out with new data on a bunch of names. Aftermarket yesterday, this one they have pegged at around 30 to 33% on the short side. So that was enough of a catalyst. And we got this big ramp into the close as well, both on volume and on price. I mean, price wasn't a huge move, but here we are up 5%, guys, for SDC.
Yeah, and when in doubt, zoom out. As life goes through 12 and goes to like 12.20, I just took some of that one out, and I'm sort of sitting here saying, why did I like Smile Direct more for the long today? And maybe it's a meme thing. I know some people are treating it this way, that it just feels like it's recently broken this level here, this like 615 to 620 area. And as long as it's above here, again, you double top going into yesterday's afternoon, and then we're going to gap above that. So that's where I want my out to be. It's not 6 even. It's not 625. I'm just looking at this bar here, like it's at 615, and then right around that area top as well. So that's an area stop that I want to have in Smile Direct. And as long as it's above it, I want to stay on the bullish side. And to me, like you can add into this that sure you've got the break 6 here, you've got the 50 period as well. And there was a good question by Vivek in the chat this morning saying, but wouldn't this 7 even area, all this chop filling in this gap, be resistance? Answer usually yes, but with some of the meme names, I just find that some of the charts, it hasn't really mattered earlier on in those moves. So I'm gonna look at it this way and say that there's a lot of people that will probably be trying to short it at those levels, which could give it some push to the upside. Could be wrong about that. Might be overthinking a little bit, and maybe I should just be shorting in front of $7 in Smile Direct. But as long as we hold that area, I kind of want to be a buyer today to give it a chance to run. It's really only been just yesterday's action. So sometimes when these move early, it's just you don't want to be fighting it until it's like day 2, 3, or 4 and thinking about the short, like ATER, which today, obviously, I think is a short today. Smile Direct is early on this cycle, it seems like.
Yeah, I don't know if they're early or not. I mean, we went from 5 to 650, and I'm looking. the only thing I have written down here are shorts into 7. So I actually have offers out right now at 674 and 690. So just to see if we tried to break this 670. We didn't do it. We're actually coming back down the other way. I talked about this yesterday as possibly being one of those trades that you could fade today. So we'll wait to see. It's up 5%. So yesterday we closed down here 6, and today we get to 670. So yeah, it's dripping down here. I mean, I was going to short it up here and then get out around 6. So the fact that it's coming back down to $6 maybe makes me think that there are some longs coming into play here somewhere, 570, 575, something like that, where there's all this volume started to pick up here near the end of the day. So into this area, that's 6. So we'll see if Smile Direct can fall, but I do want to short any sort of pops into this 7 right here. I just don't. I mean, it's great. If they were coming with earnings and they had beat or they got some upgrades or something like that, then I think we could take out the 7. Then I would look at 750 and then to the upside even more than that. So, Smile Direct again off some bottoms. No surprise that it's making these kind of moves. So we'll wait to see what happens when the market opens up. But I think Smile Direct probably today gets faded back down to the downside, but it's already sort of losing some steam in the pre-market, which lends me to believe that maybe we could drop a little bit and then stop in and around here where the volume started to pick up. So between 580 and 590, we'll want to look at this for a long and then short $1 higher than that as well.
One of the only other names on the earnings board at the end of the day yesterday was this fuel cell, just right now at 9 o'clock there, I guess 10 minutes ago, out with earnings, guys. Looks better than expected. There's a monster level up here at 650, 660 for fuel cell, but they beat, it looks like, right across the board. Beat by a penny per share, revenue topped as well. So decent look here. You guys want to have a look at fuel cell?
Yeah, I mean, we're just looking at it right now because we actually didn't realize the report was coming out, as we go here. So this is like a live look. Okay, so yuck. Yeah, it's been pretty nasty here. I hold XL Fleet, and it's been bad to the downside as well for some of these EV names. But now you're getting a nice pop here. Again, we don't really know. We will find out, obviously, more about this. Snowflake coming out with some news now as well, 6 minutes ago. Biden wants 70% of the world by next September vaccinated. Don't know how he's going to control that number. Okay, but 6.6%, or sorry, 660 up here has been the high on a 10-minute over the last little while here. Let's check out a daily chart for fuel cell. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're looking for something that was due to pop off earnings, it's this name. But look where the 50 period is. This is 650. This could be a short right into here. So yeah, I'm going to be looking to short this, and we'll wait to see what the numbers were like and if they really do like this. But a nice pop up right into this area right here. Good short, man. 660. If you're long fuel cell, you may want to get out around that 640, 650 mark, and then play the break through 660 if that does happen. But a nice move up here and a little stop and hesitation now at 6.25. So if the numbers were good, which I'm guessing they were, then yeah, I look to fade this one, to be honest with you. I mean, I wish I could say fuel cell to the moon, but it needs to get above this level here, 660. So let's watch out for 660. If it takes it out, then this is fantastic, and we'll go long. So I think we're going to have a long break here at about 650. Let's call it 650. We'll take a long on fuel cell, and then we'll wait to see if it drops back into the 590 range, where there was some consolidation just before the number happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this 95 to 6 area. Like, if it pulls back into there, maybe that's where you start picking up some support. I think, and I'll get Brendan to confirm, about 17% or around that range short interest on fuel cell, if that's true. I mean, 650 stands out. It does set up there. But I'm looking at this maybe for a chance at a dip buy and then a potential rally. Again, we just got the idea that this reported here, so we're doing this sort of on the fly. But the volume is certainly fantastic in fuel cell, so it seems like it'll be safe to trade. And as we talk about it, it's pumping into this level, which I'd think pre-market there'd be some sellers at 635 to slow it down. We're about to test that theory in a few seconds.
I see 16, but yeah, there or thereabouts for FSL. Another one. Next up here, guys, support.com. S3 Partners, I mentioned, out aftermarket yesterday, tweeting about a number of different stocks. This was one of them. Now talking about 70% of the float being short on support. Last week they had the vote on Friday for their merger that went through. It was approved, but here we are down again. Only 1%. It was a lot worse when I first sat down here this morning, but 70% getting quite high for support.com.
I mean, it is. And again, like we
Quite
had people saying, people in the chat like, oh, it's
high,
at 95. People were saying
95.
So I mean, a lot of these are estimates, but look, that's ridiculous. That's a huge number. Any way you want to cut it, it's a significant, ridiculously significant portion short. Now, 1750 at a wick bottom here in the 7th. That's where we touched in the pre-market. It's breaking back into the upside here. I think in terms of beating up on this thing, as long as it's going to hold this double bottom at 1750, I kind of feel like you want to be staying away from the short unless it's going to be on spikes up, on halt type plays, at least for me. The 20 even is going to stand out a little bit here. Just note that there was a lot of choppiness when 20 broke before, and the clean break was a lot closer to 2075. That's this level here, and that's this level here. So I really do think 20 could be a little bit of a trap. Certainly going to be a little bit of resistance. However, when I came in and sat down, all I said was 1750 post squeeze drop was a double bottom and long in front of it. So I don't necessarily have an obvious entry point, although I am interested in the idea that and this is the reverse of the short, the 930 kind of pop thing, like if it were to fall into the open, into this range, fail to break 1750, that would give you sort of a dip by entry point. It's the reverse of that entry I like to the short side. I'd be thinking that on support. Other than that, I don't love the breakout, certainly not at 20 for the reasons given. And it's a little bit much. I mean, if you long it here at 19 on a break, yesterday's close at 19.10, I kind of feel like you're giving it like a $1.60, maybe $2 when you consider slippage. That's a wider range than I want to play with it, especially if I think that there might be some resistance to that 20 level and a failed break there. That's a little bit less than 1-to-1, which I don't love.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking, if you're going to do anything, it's this 2050 mark right here. So we'll see if I can take that out. I mean, I can't believe those numbers, 70%, 50%, 95%, whatever it is on the short side. So we'll watch out for support. And again, completing that merger with, what was it, Green Bridge or something? Bitcoin mining and whatnot, clean Bitcoins there. So we'll wait to see here, 2050, kind of merging the world there with crypto. But, that's a good little level there. Remember, I just mentioned Snowflake, and you guys remember I was calling this one Baby Palantir? Well, it looks like it's Adult Palantir, because when we were talking about this one below $200, and I just looked right now, as I have to hit enter about 5 times before my charts change. You're going to see Snowflake ever since we started, not ever since we started talking about it, but we were talking about this thing well into these numbers here, down at these lows, holding down here, and then as soon as you broke back above 212, I mean, look how many days in a row now Snowflake has just been up, 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 and away up to 320 right now. So this goes from 200 to 320 real quick. This was not, like, this is May, man. This was $196 in May, up to 319 right now. So as opposed to what Palantir's doing, we'll have to watch out for them, but they're going to be dipping back down here, hopefully into that 25. Some people were asking me about Palantir. Look at the 10-minute chart. That's 1 minute. Anyways, we can just even do this yesterday. Yesterday down here to 25. He bounced off 25 pretty hard. NASDAQ tumbles all morning, and Palantir finds a base at 25 and then rips off $1 basically up to 26 all afternoon. So Palantir, straight drop. This kind of looks like NEO actually. Straight drop to the downside and then a nice little move back. So we're going to do the same thing here on Palantir and wait to see a little bit lower if we can't catch it. Here's the 10-minute for Palantir, and this is what we're talking about. 25 back on the 8th and 9th, and then $25 yesterday. Definitely having some problems up here 27. So we're in a range here with Palantir as well. But look at these drops. Epic, bang. Then an epic move back, bang. Same thing. So we'll see if we can get some Palantir to the low side here today. Watch out in case this does drop down. But the NASDAQ's actually holding up quite nice today. I have to change this. This is supposed to be Z again. I guess my layout didn't save, so I'm going to change that to NZ. So.
Right now, I think that, the percent change is obviously going to be exactly the same.
It's not going to matter that
Yeah,
much.
so it's not going to matter too much changing. I just want to point out, Life made that run to 1250, so we'll be pretty happy about this one as we'll power it up. if it makes a fresh high here, if we were to take out 1260, I would move a trailing stop into 1250 just to tighten things up from that. It was an 1165 break, then an iceberg order at 70. So, that's why there's actually two triangles that you can see to the long side there, because I got the break, and then when I saw the iceberg at 70, I jumped on that bid to get the shares. For now, I want to get out at the same price I got the last out in, around that 1220 for a trail. Once we've taken out 60 and head towards 75, I'll tighten the trail up just by 25 cents at a time, just because honestly, I don't really know. People have called out highs or tops on this thing, or where they have targets. I don't really have any, to be honest with you. So those quarters, each quarter, I just want to make sure that we're going to get some out and then preserve some of the win, especially when these things have come back in and sold at 9:30, and you don't want to be trapped in a pre-market trade and then give up all of your profit. You want to make sure you bank some.
Verpax Pharmaceuticals, guys, was an offering, 6.7 million shares at $6 each. So expect that to get crushed a little. So that'll bring the grand total of the free float to 8 million shares from 2 currently. So anyone watching Verpax, VRPX, a heads up there. ATER, the other one that's been quite the high flyer of late. Another one that's very highly shorted. Another one that S3 Partners was talking about aftermarket yesterday on the short side. Not as high, not as much as far as the amount of shares shorted, but still the possibility here of, remember this thing as well. I'll double check. I think it's around 20 million, if I'm not correct, on the float for ATER.
Yeah, it's something
tiny.
It's something pretty bad. I see. We'll talk about Ethereum quickly. I just want to say this because I just looked at myself and was like, "What the hell?" Win down 8% now.
They didn't report.
No, they didn't report. It's China rearing its ugly head one more time, as it looks like apparently now Macau casino operators lower this morning potential increased regulation here on the casinos. So we just talked about this yesterday. I didn't step into anything, if this is why, this is not why I didn't step in. I thought casinos were starting to break out again, and I believe that they were. And then now all of a sudden you get this news, and you're going to get wind drop to the downside again. Let's check out LVS right now. They're going to be down probably the same, 7-8%, something like that here as we go. Let's go charts. Down 8% on LVS as well. Unbelievable moves here this morning on some of these names. One of the best ones, MGM, flying recently, 42 and change. I don't expect this to be down as much, but let's see. Yeah, down only 2% here. So MGM might be the one to pick up on anything to the low side. As you're going to see, they don't have much exposure there over in China. So watch out for MGM. I'd like that as a bid here, picking that up down 2%, but those other names getting crushed right now. We do like ATER, but I like it on a break lower here. I'm not short already, but I need to be soon.
Yeah, it's just yesterday I kind of thought the top would be 20 to 21, and we sort of talked about this in the afternoon show, getting back up to these levels. The former Mohawk, interesting company and what they do. I always say don't have stop orders out when these dark pool dumps happen. Fortunately, when I got triggered out, I was able to get back into this. On the idea that it has a chance to hold below 18, that's what I essentially shorted here first. If it comes back up and gives that 930 or opening pop into about $18 and fails, I'd probably short it at that price again. If it takes out the high, I would be waiting for a chance to short it in that 20 to 21 range from the daily chart. The breakdown here would be about 550 to 16, like the same that we would have been looking at in the aftermarket show. In the afternoon show at Power Hour. So I think it can play in both ways. I just wanted to make sure that I was in position on this one to the downside here today. And I did get trailed out of life. So exactly like I said, once it made that fresh high, and it barely broke it, it made that fresh high at 60s. I would have moved my stop up another 25 pennies, just banking the profit on the way up. I don't want this flushing on me and then coming back to 1150, and then I'm deciding, okay, I've given up that profit, now I want to be buying the dip. Now we'll take the profit and look to see if we can get a dip down around for that entry point that we had before, 1150 to 1170.
Just reading as well, guys, on the casino front, apparently there was quite a large COVID outbreak in Macau as well, which isn't going to help, obviously. Boeing, with a little bit of news this morning, trying to hold up here. Boeing actually looks pretty good here in the pre-market. They updated their next 10-year forecast. So saying that increased demand will come back as more people start flying, obviously, talking very positively about the next 1 year, first off, and then they talked about 5 and 10 years as well, both to the upside. So yeah, holding up here. This is when that came out, but holding up here right at day highs for Boeing, guys.
And
Interesting chart that like the Boeing is right
Yeah,
now.
they're on my list as with a star beside it because you're coming up right here to 216. So I mean, we bounced off 216 a bunch of times and fell to 210 every time. So here's a 216 break. I mean, it dropped down to 212. A test again of 216. It dropped down to this 210. A test drop, test drop, test drop. So now we're going to test one more time. But now we actually have some news behind all of this. And again, these COVID outbreaks, I'm sad to hear that about Macau. I'm sad to hear that about every COVID outbreak that we hear about. And I just think that that's going to obviously affect Boeing. But hey, even that, they came out, they guided a little bit forward here, thinking that, business should be starting to pick up at some point. And obviously we agree with that. So, breaking through 216 is a great trade, but that's already happened. So that's just a 20-minute. Here's what's happening on the 1 minute here. You've already broken above. That was a great trade, being long somewhere around 216. I'm going to wait a little bit. Any sort of a dip in case this market does want to give some back, a dip back into 212, 230. I mean, 212 is too low. Maybe 214-ish, something like that. Signifies a buy for me on Boeing. And then, as the market opens, we'll see about taking out some tops. Let's just check out the imbalance locator. We only have 5 minutes to go. We haven't even done that yet. Nothing, and that's the problem. F-sell here as a sell. We talked about that one already. And then there's nothing
FAMI's
else.
a penny stock.
FAMI, isn't that
that's
mushrooms, I think.
Yeah, that's
farming and stuff like that. So that's nothing. And then Ford there, like 170,000 or 140,000 shares to sell. Like there's really nothing here, so we'll have to wait. Looks like people are waiting for that rebalance on Friday. We have Apple at 1 p.m. and then right now, not too much interest for too many things here on the market on open, but I do like that Boeing. We're just talking about it, of course, into a low area here. If we can cherry pick some lows, we'll do that, and then we'll see. I was hoping that there'd be a bid imbalance that we could watch this thing fly, but we'll wait to get to 213.50 or so. We'll put a bid and see if we get lucky enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go quickly to Brendan in a quick second here, but someone asked, how do I use stop orders? JTrader of the world, we have stop orders available to us in the pre-market. It's the gateways that can be limited, so I just make sure I can execute on a gateway that's going to allow me to trade. I like that same level in Boeing, if only caveat 216.75, I think was a wick top a couple of times, but still a lot to discuss in terms of even a couple of small caps here. Brendan's got one of them.
Yeah, more COVID-related news, guys. NNVC, this is a therapeutic company, so they're actually working on treatment, not a vaccine. So NNVC, this is a commercial licensing agreement they announced today, so up on that news. There's a couple of things to note here on NNVC. These highs right here and then back over here, that's 5 even. So first off, 5 even, and then I just marked off here, higher than that, 550. So very easy, 5 and then 550. If it gets above that, it's got lots of room, but struggling at the moment anyways at 5, guys, for NNVC.
So there's only 3 minutes to go. I want to get to this JCS, which is, it's a micro cap, guys, and it announced a special $3.50 dividend. So it spiked up. It actually had gapped up about $3 overnight and has been basically giving it all back. And a lot of times I would be in a chart like this and a gap up, which was only selling off, I'd be shorting it. But it's just one of those situations where I was like, I don't want to chase it too far down, especially with that tiny low float. If you look quickly at the daily chart, I mean, obviously, you can see some support down around like the 650 level. If you attach the 350 to that, you sort of say $10 would be the high. That's kind of what we're sitting at in the pre-market. So, pre-market highs. I would not be surprised to see this thing base out and make a bit of a rally. So if it gets anywhere close to this 750 area, I kind of want to be trying my hand out at a long trade on JCS. Just to quickly go to GameStop because it was a big mover the last couple of days. And this 200 level has been pretty significant. It held up after a rally and a break of this 200. It's now held up at 201, and both in the afternoon and now here in the pre-market. If it's going to hold that level, I think we have a decent chance at a bit of a breakout again today. 210 still looks like the resistance on GameStop. Haven't been looking at as much AMC recently, but GameStop certainly still in play for me.
Yeah, we're going to look at here AMD as we have again. I really like AMD. I think this can be bought for at least, yeah, that's right. We have this wick here that I have to fix. That can be at least bought for a little bit of a run here at some of these levels. We've bounced off 103, 104 a couple times now. We've already just gone through a little bit of a swell here in September. And although, the September effect is not over, there's still halfway through the month to go. And generally speaking, the 17th coming up to this Friday with the rebalances, generally, you will see some negativity after that as well, heading into October. But if forget about the negativity. Today we have CPI, which was a nice number, so you're up 0.39%, and it looks like you're starting to go on some of these names. So AMD starting to make a move off some of those bottoms. So anything around 103, 104 obviously needs to be taken into consideration. And then if you look here, where's my, here. This chart here, a 20-minute chart. I mean, I could look at it on a 10 as well. But here we go. Look at this. 107 right here at the top is a level that we're looking at. A lot of consolidation between 106 and 107. So, you know, we'll see what happens right now with only less than a minute to go. I like a 107 break. Even though that seems crazy, that's a little while away from now, or a little ways away. But, you know, that could come real fast. They're up to 107, especially if this market takes off. So let's watch out for AMD. I'm actually flat heading here into the open, so we need to get some fills. And we have a couple names on watch.
Yeah, never have to force it, but definitely some trades for action here. For that NNVC, which Brendan just mentioned, I actually like that for a 930 potential pop and roll kind of idea, like off of that 550 area, which is at the top. I kind of think it's going to be Trader TV Randy on the bell today. That's just a bit of a guess because I saw him lingering around here, which means maybe turn down the headphones just a tiny little bit there. As he is on the bell, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That was like a steadily increasing
Yeah, that was
volume.
okay.
It was okay.
That was good. Yeah, we didn't have to like, you know, send out any earplugs to any of our famous fans there.
Oh, ATR already dropping.
ATR, yeah, okay, so I'm looking at that. I'm looking at for 1575 break on ATR to go short on that bad boy. So if that can come through, we will be looking at that for sure. 1575 on ATR.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not getting any movement to the upside on the NNVC yet. It's trying to break 5. I want to be shorting a pop there. ATR now $1.50. What's it, 1560? Man, give me a break, ATR. So this one not giving the entry point. I was sitting on the offer. I was trying to offer higher, and now it's all the way down at 1560s. That life, it looks like maybe I got out of that one too early because it did spike up to 1260, and then, oh no, came right back in to 1220. So this one's still at the top end of its range. Buying the dip, not there. And wow, GameStop right into this 200 level almost immediately. So this test is happening rather fast. I thought we'd be testing that at some point, not at 9:30 in 30 seconds.
Yeah, GameStop. Well, look at the NASDAQ, man. The NASDAQ really taking off. So we're going to hold
That's
this
why
short.
the money coming out.
Yeah, on ATR. We'll hold it. Come on, like my charts aren't even fucking loading. Okay, so here we go. So to the downside now, we go on ATR. We're going to hold this. There's bang! What a big win there on ATR. We just got crushed on a 15 there, Neil. So we got a 15-15 bid there out on ATR. We only have one trade, but that was a doozy right there. Let's see if we can hold this for a little bit there as ATR crushes to the downside. We're going to go 1 for 1 as this looks like it wants to take out 15, guys.
Yeah, it's got a bit of an iceberg buyer down at that 15 level. I don't know if that's going to hold up too well, but life is absolutely off to the races. GameStop does not turn to that 200, so I'm going to turn my attention away from that stock and back over to life, which does look like it's still in the middle of a run here. It just retook that 1260. When it did, I tried to actually get it. There we go. Yeah, okay, we just got the fill there at 74. Yes, I thought we had 75, but 74 here on a bit of a breakout on life as it's trying to take this 13 level. I might be an ad for me at that 13, but the way that this thing keeps selling every single quarter, I kind of feel like you got to take profit instead at that 13 level and then think about buying dips. So we'll go with that. We'll take a little bit of profit in front of 13 and look to see if we can't hold to a 13, break the rest.
Yep, good. Okay, here goes ATR right now, breaking through 15. So we have a little bit, I mean, we're short 1573. This was a big trade for me. We identified that on our list early on the stop orders. I know these guys have it short a little bit there, but we put on a big position for me and just hit that to the downside. It just resisted off 15, so maybe there's going to be something there at 15. I still think, I mean, there's so much downside here for ATR that, I mean, who knows where this is going to stop. 1430s yesterday basically is a spot, but let's see if it takes 14 one more time, and if it does, then 15, then we do have a bid lower on this name, so we'll watch out for that. Let's go over to Palantir. I hope it does take it out, man. I mean, we may, we've already got out. We've got out of 60% of that trade, so hopefully that goes. Palantir looks like it's doing the opposite. It's going to the upside right now. Still wants to go. This is a 10-minute chart. Here goes Palantir taking 26 and change. We're still looking for some lower bids here. If the NASDAQ falls down, we want to buy some PLTR, guys.
Yeah, and just a good thing we took some profit on that life because immediately reverses off of 13. Now, this is the big test because 1225 is where it barcoded before. If it can bounce here, I'm going to see if I can't buy the dip in front of that 1225. But if that gets taken out, I want to be out of this name. I've now moved into, if ATR goes down to 15 again, I'm going to get out of this thing and just say forget about it. Life coming back hard now. I don't want this breaking 12 and then potentially halting because you don't want to give away the profit that you made on a stock like this. So if it takes out 12, I now got to give up the ghost. We just bought back into it. And then watch out we already talked about ATR, but watch out because GameStop, which I said I got away from when other names were moving more, that just screamed back off randomly 198.5 and back into this 200 range. And a part of me wants to be fading this now off of this pre-market low at 201.50. If it's going to be markets up, a lot of times that means memes sell, well, at least in the case of GameStop and AMC. So with the rally starting to go on here, I'm going to look to be on the south side of GameStop when originally I thought it would be a long. Guess not.
I like that. Markets up. Yeah, so here we go. The markets are trying to go up right now, and we still have ATR. So we did pick up some Boeing, so we'll wait to see now. We talked about a bottom picking some of this Boeing move here. You know, are we expecting it to go up or down? Who knows? But right now, Boeing bouncing around right here. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll just see where it goes from here. That's BA. Boeing looks like it's trying to make some moves here. What's up, Brendan?
Early mover, guys. BLU, if you remember from yesterday, wasn't doing anything at all in the pre-market and then just took off as soon as the bell rang. So nice look, 10% already for BLU.
Oh, I remember Blue from yesterday. Yeah, we were talking a little bit. You're my boy, Blue, so I got to get on the radar for that one. I just threw my offer in there on GameStop. I don't know if I didn't actually get the fill to the short side in front of that 201 area. But BLU, just to refresh your memories, 550. I want to say no, sorry, it was 515 or so was that little bit of a top. You did see me short this in yesterday's action around $5 when it came back in. That's where the breakout has happened.
Oh boy.
If it dips back in, I'm gonna like a buy down there. I don't have an obvious target for the short sell on Blue, not just yet, maybe 550, but watch out for that 5. If it comes back, it could be worth a dip buy just because it was a breakout and resistance yesterday.
Yeah, pretty happy so far today. Look at Boeing. This is a nice one, man. Superman is in the building. I don't know if they're taking Boeing jets or not, but if his kryptonite runs out, he can. We just got out some there at 215, so that's a nice run there. That's $1 or so. That's a 02, sorry, out 80s there. So we just pushed offer enter, and now we'll wait to see where we go from here. But to the upside, 215, still runner right there. And look at ATER, man. We did get that flush bottom, man. 1482, like 1482 there. The bid now we're very light. I can actually cancel now my stop order. So my stop was going to be at 17 if we were wrong on that one. So we gave ourselves about $1 and change. We just took that final dollar on that move, but ATER, man, definitely making money moves there to the downside, and now we're super light. We're going to get out if it breaks through 16 and just call it a day on ATER, and what a good day that was so far. Anyways, NEO doesn't get us that dip buy. I talked yesterday about Clover. Is that doing anything? Yeah, it's up a little bit today. We talked about this yesterday, Clover coming back in, and I thought that there was a nice bottom here being formed on this, and I thought you could buy it. So I actually did pick up some options yesterday on Clover, so we'll wait to see where that goes. Not expiring until October, so a little bit of love there for CLOV. We'll see where we go on that one. Let's put our stop in for 16, sorry, on ATER. What's up over there?
No, I was going to say, Small Direct just got back into that 660 range or 650, and then this is what happened. Right, I just tried to get this in front of 201 on GameStop, as I mentioned, and it's right back down into 198. I see a 195 print that I don't think is real, but GameStop really being faded, as we said. Sometimes when the money comes into the market or the overall market, that's when the meme names start coming back to the downside. And that at least looks like it's happening here. Although I haven't checked in on AMC, it is GameStop that caught my attention first. I got that stop out, which is it sucks. We're still up on life, but we had that re-entry point. We took that 35 and then stopped out at 12 even here, and you're going to see it immediately retesting. So this looks like a hard turn at 13, and this might turn into a bit of a shorting opportunity, but it's way too whippy. Wow, see, it's just way too whippy to do anything but short the top end of this range. It would have to be 14s or 50s. Yeah, here comes Smile Direct. If it takes out the high, I want to get some out. Well, wait a minute, I'm going to get some out in the 660 range because I can't flip to it because I want to get some out. But there's a seller on Smile Direct at 663 I thought I saw for a couple 100,000 shares.
Shoot, I'm offering here 674. I want to short Smile Direct on this pop, so let's wait to see where we go. But Smile Direct, a nice little pop to the upside there. Boeing still 71 cents in the money. We could check out AMD quickly to see what happened there. I should have gone over there when I saw this dip down, but we just crushed. Okay, yeah, 104, yeah. Okay, so it's still dipping, okay. I was just thinking that the futures there took off like crazy, both the ES and the NASDAQ, and now we're right back down. So yeah, this did not touch, thank God. Thank God that didn't go to 107 in the pre-market because that would have been a problem. But back down here to 103.50 or so on AMD is not a horrible spot. Brendan has always got something.
Just seeing a headline on JP Morgan here, guys. Just double checking. They were talking about Q3 trading revenue lower than expected, but not much of a move here so far for JPM. But a heads up on the banks. We're trying to actually Break day highs currently for JP Morgan.
Yeah, I just noticed that. We'll go to WFC. I mean, you just talked about it, so let's go to WFC quickly here. A bank. The only U.S. bank that I own is JP Morgan. So just a little talk on that. But WFC, obviously, wow, yeah, nice movements up here. The CPI, no problem. Oh God, can't look at that. Look at Boeing, though, guys. Yeah, hide your kids, hide your wife right now as Boeing. Go ahead, my charts are frozen again. This is honestly.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. I want to get to that JCS because this is only going into the downside. If it gets to 750, like I said before, 350 a special offering on this stock. If it gets to 750, it's going to be an interesting place that if it can turn around, I want to buy. I'm still looking for an entry point into GameStop here. You're going to quickly see I'm still offering that 201. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. At this point, getting that fill will be reckless. It's shorting off of 200, I think, would make a little bit more sense now if I want to get involved in this trend as it continues to go to the downside. As mentioned, I did take some out of that, some Smile Direct Club out. Take some out of that Smile Direct Club, whatever. And I just went Smile Direct and I went to GameStop. Anyway, so I did get some out there. Just got the GameStop fill in front of that high. If it takes out the top, I want to hold the rest. There was a seller in the mid-60s that is now gone, by the way. So it was there on the offer at Smile Direct. I do not see it there anymore. So I'm going to maybe not take any more until it breaks that high of the day. But GameStop gives me the entry, this time in front of 200 instead of waiting for that 201. So I'm going to play off of this pre-market low here at 201.50, see if we can head back down toward the bottom. The market trailing back in a little bit here. So overall, the NASDAQ pulling back, which I think is why we got that rally, or the rally, dip buy or whatever you want to call it, relief rally here in GameStop.
Yeah, short ATR at 15.75. We're just tweeting this out here, guys, because that was, a good trade for us, and you can see what's happening right now. And this was live on the sticky note, so we're $1 in the money now on this sticky note tweet right there. And you can see here it is right here. Please follow if you can, just so you can see what we're talking about. Here's ATR, break below support at 15.75. We want to go short there, so that's at TraderTV Sean. I'll put that in the chat, and you can follow and then see some of the plays that I'm going to be making every single day. I pretty much make the same plays. And then we talked about Boeing, which is nicely in the money as well. But what's up, Brendo?
I got to show you a daily chart here, but we saw Palo Alto on the upgrades board today. This is all-time highs, guys. Pan W to the upside today.
Oh, I did see that on one of the upgrades. Should have, kind of feel like I missed out on that one. And certainly a good opportunity. I want to go to NNVC because this was a name that I liked for a 930 pop and maybe a bit of a short. It got to 515. I was sort of sitting here at the 20 range looking at those quarters and wanted to take those. But if it's only going to give you 515, I might nibble into it here. We like the high of the day is an out, but 550 does stand out on the stock as well. So let's see if I can get, we just got in some shares on NVC here off of the 15 level. Again, 541 is current pre-market high, but I'm more playing this one off of that 550 level. So count me involved in this name. We're going to go back over to, if I can, you know what? We never talked any, and apologies, we talked Oracle at the very, very beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, didn't really see too much of a day trade. It's on New York. Didn't really see too much of a day trade. Load up. It did make a move, and this probably, I don't know why I didn't like this for like a 930 pop and rollover if I was going to be somewhat bearish on it, but it did give you that look. It is now just broken through 85, which is the only reason I bring it up now. This is going to be 85, which is a key previous resistance and previous support level, 85. That one continues down. Oracle support is literally at $78 to $80 if it goes any lower than here. I already got my hands in a couple of names to the short side. Probably late to the party on that Oracle. I didn't anticipate a pop into 87, but it did give it to you. So if you're sitting in Oracle to the short side and you're bearish on it, there are some reasons to be holding through that break of 85.
Yep, for sure. Oracle, again, not too much movement there, but a nice one regardless. Yeah, damn it. Smile Direct came so darn close to getting me in there at 6. I was at 674. I should just hit that short right there when it came right back. I mean, we talked about this yesterday that we liked the Smile Direct short, and today we had an opportunity to put that on right there at 6. I mean, it came right. I don't know. What was I doing, man? If I'm at 664, this is laughable as it just takes right back to the downside. But darn it, missed opportunity there, but that's okay. We'll move on on from that one. What about DraftKings there? Saw a whole bunch of logos last night on DraftKings on the game, and nice move up from 59 up to 61. Looks like that wants to get faded out as well right now. DraftKings, yeah. We sold some recently right about here. I think it was 61.50 or something. We talked about that. But I really think this is getting to be too high, and DraftKings on the way back down. We'll see about that. But right now on the daily, there's not a whole hell of a lot happening. ATER, I've changed my out on that one. Boeing came right back in, by the way. That went $2 in the money for us, and we didn't do anything about it. Okay, so right now ATER, we changed that out to right about here, 15.50 or so. So if we came back up to the upside and take that out, we'll get out of ATER. Otherwise, we're just going to hold this to see how far it can go down. I mean, risk reward now, it's probably going to be my number one stock. Well, who knows? But right now, it's a good trade for me. That was a clean, almost, I mean, that was 90 cents, win there on ATER. So we're happy with that, but we are willing to get rid of it if it does come back in. And then look what's happening. We talked about this even with Arun. And, you know, Apple, look, 151. I mean, again, it's on the sticky note. Like, we're in this range. Who knows how long we'll be in it. Trader TV shot.
Till 1 o'clock.
Till 1 o'clock. Like, this is the move. All the way up to 151, the exact move that we talked about happening there. It doesn't look good on a daily chart, but here, this is the move right here. Look, 151. We've seen that happen before. So there it is right there. ATER. We'll finish that trade, and we will just get the money bags going out, as now we don't have to worry. We are out of ATER at 15.50 there. That was that break spot. So there it is. We're going to go 1 for 1 on that one. And now Boeing's in the money again, another 50 cents. So hopefully that continues to go to the upside. I have an offer on Boeing to get out at 215.50. So somewhere in the middle here, we'll take that out on BA, guys.
Yeah, which is Austin asking, like, I wouldn't short Oracle. I'm like, I own Oracle long term, and I still like the stock. I mean, it doesn't matter where you have it or what cost basis. That's all that crap's irrelevant. But 85 for the day trade on the rollover, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it looked pretty good to the downside there with the market going over. Firm is another one that just recently reported. And you're going to have this level, it was about 111 or so, and try to remember that level, 111, 112, when we were buying the dips in the pre-market. And in the afternoon, that became a resistance. That's pre-market highs. It's stalling out here at that same price range, or at least trying to, so lower high here on a firm. I'm going to like this one. As long as it's below, right now it's 10.50, so I'll go with that. If I can catch this within $1 of that, I'm going to try and go into the short side in this consolidation here. If it can maybe hold out a little bit, and then use that high of the day as my out on a firm. So alert to that stock. NNVC I was just able to add to as it popped closer to that 525 mark, still well below that 550, so I'm going to hang into the short side of that particular trade. ATER, which has bounced a little bit, as Sean mentioned. Well, I mean, Sean mentioned that bottom there. Bouncing a little bit off of 15. Load. There you go. Bouncing.
That's a good one.
I know. Load. Will you please load? Yeah, you can see bouncing off 15. That took a while. If it gets back towards this 1650 area, could be worth another look here, but you want to trade at least a little bit cautiously. That took a little while. Yeah, if it gets back to that 1560 area, I would look for a reload. So 1650 area, I would look for a reload.
What up, Brad?
AZRX, early halter here. It's already halted twice, it would appear. Is it currently halted? No, it's not. This one, they just updated a recent acquisition. So this is a tiny little biotech or biopharma company. 40 million on the market cap, guys. AZRX moving.
AZRX, okay. Just looking here, AMC making moves to the downside. Nice little bounce back there for Boeing. So we already have our target. I mean, I'm wondering about just taking this out for the dollar right now. I mean, we're long at 1402. It's bouncing right back up to view up. We could just double that out one more time. But the NASDAQ, I mean, the market's trying to go here, bouncing off some levels. So hopefully if they can take that up as well, that'd be pretty nice. So we'll see where we go on that one. Hopefully to the upside is where we should be going on that. So no qualms. $1 in the money. So that's a nice one for us here on Boeing. But when we hit this, we only got to check out one thing. I mean, the logo's right on the dude's rocket there as he goes to the upside. And today it's not really a rocket ship, but it's also not really tanking. I mean, AMC down 1%. This should be par for the course for anybody that's holding AMC. Obviously, this is not a spot to be worried about down 1% today. But if you look at AMC, we've talked about trading this one as well. It's been super strong every single day. We're trying to find some bottoms, and I think that 50 is a pretty good one. We went down to 50.40 already here today. We have some support here at 50. So, I mean, worst case scenario, if you take the long now, there goes Boeing. Let's go. I mean, do we get greedy and hold this? But you know what? Maybe we do. Let's just cancel this here and see if that's going to pay off. Probably not. But down here to 50. So that's a good little level. The only problem is if we break 50, We don't really, I mean, there's some consolidation at 49, but I mean, we could drop in here into 47 and do some dances around here again. So we'll watch out for AMC, but right now on the 1 minute chart, a nice bottom there. We'll see, you can see what we did yesterday, a nice short into the close and then some longs early off some of these dips down into that same level. Like, look, what a difference a day makes, right? Yesterday, we were buying 50 40s and took that out for, 60, 70 cent win. And then today, the same move happens again, and there it is again, except for this time it's $1. So a clean move there on AMC if anybody had those exact same bottoms we were talking about yesterday.
And so we just probably looked that gift in the mouth on a firm here. Is it just dipped down into like a 108.60 or so coming back in? I still like the short side of the trade, so I'm going to hang on to it at least for now. But I'm at least starting to think about the fact that I should be maybe heavily more involved if it goes back into like 110 and then actually take some out here in that 108.50 range. I have been holding out, and I just canceled my bid that was sitting in front of VWAP here at 108.20 or so to bag about $1.25 and maybe take it a little bit tighter to this 108.50 mark. At this point, a firm's still looking pretty good. NNVC, by the way, GameStop just took it out at 201.50. Thank goodness. That was a wipeout bottom, it looks like. It just took the 203 top out, so saved about $1.50 on that trade. But NNVC is now the one that's going to be interesting, as it is consolidating, at least attempting to near that high of the day. I will not add to this position unless it actually tests that pre-market high. If it does do that and start to roll, then I will take it off. As I said, I will get on the bid closer to a firm around that 108.50. That's exactly where it is. So we'll see if we can. Oh, okay, that works. We'll go winner, winner, chicken dinner, because just as I was saying it, a firm did this as I was watching NNBC. Dips all the way down to VWAP, so who cares? If it breaks 108, I'm holding, but that's a double bottom. That's pre-market low. That is an opening range bottom at 106. I'm not trying to hold through that. I actually like a firm, just like the setup for it, so I'll get out around 106.50 to 107 should be the target for the rest of these shares. And let's go to Brendan. What you got, bud?
DATS, I saw Dat Chat Incorporated. I saw the warrants were up huge in the pre-market on this thing, but just popped up at the open there, guys, up to $8 on volume for DATS.
DATS, okay.
That's
yeah. That's that good stuff right there. Okay, let's just keep going here and looking. I'm trying to find some more trades here that we like. We did talk about Clover. Okay, here goes Boeing. We are sitting right here on Boeing. To get out right now, guys, we're offering at 40. So here comes a nice little move to the upside. If we can get this, that'll be $1.30 right there on BA. I don't know why. I'm just waiting here at 40. That was the high. So we'll see if that's going to crack through. Maybe we'll just adjust it to 30 there. Don't tell me we missed this by 10 cents again on Boeing, but hopefully that comes back up. We don't. Oh, come on. It literally just went to where we're at 40, guys. It touched 39 there. Like, I'm sitting at 40, so wow, that's a little bit of bad luck. Let's just put that back down to 35 now and see. That is unbelievable that it stops at our order, but that does happen quite often. So there it is right there. We'll get out again if we can midway through there, but that's a nice little dollar there for that name. Netflix down a little bit as well, back down to 580, so that's a name there. And good thing we got out of ATER, guys, is that's ripping up to 16 now. Good out there at 1550.
Yeah, Fuel Cell just continuing its push. It's now at 680. Just going back quickly to the daily chart. It's got to zoom in so you can see a little bit better here. It's already through what you would think would be first resistance 660. There's probably a little bit of something if it got to like 750 or so, but there's some smooth sailing on this stock that if it even tries to dip into 650, it could be worth a look here, guys. But Fuel Cell absolutely off to the races.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Fuel Cell, and thank you so much for everybody in the chat there giving me credit, even though I don't have it, for that. We talked about in the pre-market that 650 level there, and that we like that for a break. So I don't know who it was there. Someone said they took it. There it is right there. What's up, Chief Gobriel there? We know a Gobriel. I don't think that's who you are, but Sheriff Gobriel there. We're going to spin the money for you because you took that trade, and there it is for anybody that took F-Cell long. Congratulations on a big report and a big day for F-Cell holders there. I just wish we had it. We're into too many other, we weren't even into too many other things there, but that was that break we talked about right here of 650. They take it out there on the daily chart. Also up here, we did talk about that breaking through some of these levels here on F-Cell right there, 650. Goes all the way back to the second and the third. And then when you zoom this back out, you'll see right there, there's that 650 mark and a break all the way to 680. So you might want to scalp some out now. Up to you, but there you go. Congratulations, anybody that took that F-Cell Ford as well, starting to pop a little bit. We talked about that 1280 level the last couple days, and now today, again, once my charts will eventually change, you'll be able to see, that looks, yeah, see, once they do change, then I have this to deal with. But here goes Ford off those 1280 bottoms today, so nicely up to the races here. We should take a long soon on this name, Ford.
Yeah, so firm now about $1.50 in the money, and I'm still looking probably, in between that 106. 106.50, 107 area. Looks like we'll be able to get some out down there if it continues to fall. NNVC is now down at about $5. My average price works out to $5.14. I didn't get any more in that 25 range. Unfortunately, I would have liked to. It's support breaking the bottom. I could have said breaking support, I suppose, at 17.50, and that is, go back a little bit more so you can see, that is a double bottom break here on support. I wanted to see if we could hold it. There was no bounce, there was no size, there was no real resistance down here at 17.50. It just chewed through it like a knife through butter the first time. It's now trying to take it a second time after a minor bounce. If it holds on volume below this price, it's probably going to be a short. But I'd love to see a recovery. I mean, you saw that wipeout bottom on GameStop. I mean, if support were to do the same thing, and that ends up being a wipeout bottom and puts in a higher low, you could get a break back up at about 1760 or 1765 or so. For now, I'm going to stick with NNVC and affirm to the short side of the trade and want to come back over, if I can, to that JSC. I don't want to get too far away from this low floater. I thought it was going to maybe break up if it made a bottom 750. It bottomed at $8 and then turned on a dime at 850. And this is a big time volume spike. It sold like a rock and found support at 8 again. So 8 is setting up to be a level on this JCS, which oddly enough is not. It's free to short, so that's not hard to borrow. It's a small floater, but if 8 gets taken out, this kind of looks like this could fall back down to earth. I mean, it's already fallen a bit, but this could fall back down to earth even faster.
Okay, yeah, so I want to talk about Clover a little bit here as Boeing, again, we got way too greedy there as the NASDAQ just now is starting to go negative probably here very, very soon. Boeing was in the money, $2. We did take it, and then we waited for this, and then we honestly missed this by 1 cent. Like, we missed this by 1 damn cent there on Boeing. So that was real close, man. Darn it, I hate that. Okay, let's just keep on going though through it. Palantir, wow, what a big move for that name. What a big move for Snowflake as well. Congratulations, anybody on those names like we've been on. And Palantir, look at this, straight to the upside. We are waiting for this to happen. Like, I have bids down here. Didn't. It goes the opposite way. But with that being said, we do have some tops here, so I don't think there's anything wrong with fading Palantir right now and see if we do hold out some of these highs. I mean, 16, 17 right here, 27. I was going to look here, 26.90. I mean, Palantir's on a nice move to the upside. Let's go a little short here on PLTR, and we can hold this back up to 27. I mean, worst case scenario, we take a little bit of a hit on this one. But if the NASDAQ keeps on falling down, then Palantir should follow suit. So we're right near the high of the day. I'm going to take an opportunity to short.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brent, on NNVC. We'll hit that key because NNVC, like I said, it was, and probably you said it's hard to get size because you wanted more shares up here. And like I was saying, I only wanted to add if it tested up to higher. But unfortunately, you can't always get everything that you want. The stock is going to move the way it wants to. I took some out when it broke 5 even, if only because this dip price. Like you had, and look, it broke out at 8 o'clock at $4.95 or so, and then had some support down at that price, and then again after the open. So I'll definitely be taking some out. Like I said here, between $4.95. I got some more bids in front of this $4.80 mark, and then we'll see if it continues to fall. About $2 in the money on a firm getting really close to taking it all out. Brendo, what's up?
I just had an alert on this Avantor, a medical equipment maker, AVTR. All-time highs here, guys, so just double checking on this one, but AVTR up 3%. Mind the wicks on the daily chart.
Mind the wicks.
Yeah, mind the wicks. Okay, so we're going to go long again here on Boeing. I mean, I just can't believe that we missed that price. We talked about it, but we're coming right back into some of these levels that we don't mind. We still have a 1250 there, bless you. We still have a 1250 here coming as a bottom, so we'll try to go again on Boeing. I still am absolutely beside myself that we missed that, but giving us an opportunity to reload this. So down to 1250 here. Going to be our stop spot there on BA. Let's see if that comes through, but we are averaging into the long here, and we did just short Palantir. We have some more shorts coming here hopefully soon. Well, not hopefully it comes to the downside, but we are going to short into this trade here on Palantir. We're going to average into this. You've all been waiting for her for a while probably, sure. So let's go see what's up with Miss V.
Hey guys, Plug Power made a nice move to the upside at the open. Stock is up around 5%. Could you please take a look at Plug for us?
know what's interesting is we actually talked about, well, it might have been yesterday, it could have been possibly last week. I mean, I feel like it was yesterday when we were talking about plug power and stocks that are trying to get off the schneid. This is a wipeout bottom breakout, which I suppose you've seen that pattern before, and then fuel cell going as well, so a hydrogen play. I did mention, and I know for sure I said this, that if plug got to 26, that's an obvious resistance point. So thank you guys for pointing it out that it was on the move, because I might have missed this one up 5%. Well, I mean, I would have noticed it on my quote board if it got close to that 26. But yeah, you can sort of see this here. Obvious resistance point going into last week. Double top. Failed break pretty much right at the open to take out 26, and then fell $3 in the span of 2 sessions. Now, I like that for resistance again up at 26. I'll be shorting it there. But if you're looking for that break, if you're still in that break, I guess it's like a 24.75 area. I think your obvious stop is at that 24 level. Your reload spot would be somewhere in the middle, because if it pulls back, I think it takes out that 24.75.
I thought we were going to get, again, more short. We were at 69. Palantir goes to 68 before dropping to 58. Like, this is what kind of a crazy day is this? Okay, we're just missing some of our trades by pennies here, but it's still okay. Apple down to 150 right now. Microsoft looks like it wants to bounce off a little bit off of that 300 mark, so that makes sense that they went up to 300 and then literally stopped pretty much on the dime up to 308 there on Microsoft. So again, a nice little rally back to these highs. All-time high on Microsoft, I believe, is something, 304, 305, something like that. So we'll see a little bit of a rally. We're not too far off all-time highs there. Any kind of a dip down in the NASDAQ, we do want to buy some Microsoft. We've had some big trades. I don't know if it's on there from the day before, but we had some big trades on Softy. And again, you could make some more here if it ever comes down to 298.20 there, something like that. We resisted that all pre-market, and then that's Microsoft. Zooming it back out, yeah, we were pretty low yesterday. So a nice move up, actually, 0.71% here. As the NASDAQ, look what we said, man. I mean, it's now been 6 days negative in a row. We may turn 7. We were up here 0.45%. And then since the open, people just taking the opportunity here in September to sell everything they possibly can, it seems like. Even on a decent CPI number, you're still getting red into this market. So yeah, I don't really trust too much to the long here. That's why we did wind up going short. Oh, Palantir. Spin it. We don't do this normally on the short side. Money. There it goes, man. Palantir right to the downside. A short there, down and out right now. 15 cents in the money on Palantir. We'll see how low this one wants to go. We should have even more because honestly, man, we were at 69, went to 68, but we take that out at 50. And now we'll watch Palantir try to drop to the downside here. Anything like around here should be good. But if the NASDAQ starts to turn, this could fall for quite a while. So maybe we get like a 26.10, something like that bid in and around here, I think is worth it. So let's put a bid now at 26.10 here on PLTR.
Yeah, and there goes that NVC one more time down towards that opening range bottom. Like I said, get some out in front of that 480, which we just did. Blue, you're my boy, Blue. Blue continuing to run to the upside. Well, it actually Blue just got to 6 before a reversal. I'm going to take you to Brendan for happening now. When we come back, Blue on the absolute run here up 25%.
Hey guys, quick check of the markets here. 10 o'clock, we are, you'll see, back in negative territory. The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, both of them just right now going red. The composite and the 100, really the only things that were holding up. The rest of the market, but only 0.2 here for the Dow and the NASDAQ. So we'll see how we play out. The Russell still positive on the day here in Toronto. We're down a little bit as well, 0.2% for the TSX. A few things we were talking about. Part of the reason the market kind of rolled over there, Boeing could not get through that high we were discussing in the pre-market there, so straight back into negative territory, down 0.8 for BA at this point. Oracle, the other one, earnings report, still kind of chopping around, not really doing much, but this level down here from aftermarket yesterday seems to be important, guys.
And back to Blue, I just want to pull up the daily chart so you can quickly see here, guys. 6 is going to stand out for you. That 6 is exactly where we got to just now. A couple of failed breaks. The second time through on weakness, and this is what I said, you're my boy, Blue, but I'm actually going short. I guess that was maybe confusing. Yeah, off of that 6 level, it's a couple of failed breaks through that price. You can use high of the day as my out, which is essentially what I've done here. Getting 93, sort of a random price in between 90s and 6 even on that consolidation. I want some out in front of the quarters. I want some out in front of this 65 area or 60 to 65 area, and then back down into the 550 on BLU. While this was all happening, NVC continued its move into the downside, was able to get some out, like I said, in front of that 475 area. If this were to break, I'm just shooting right here for this 450. So if it goes down to 450, I'll be all flat in NVC no matter what. It's possible that maybe my bias on a firm has gotten the better of me. And when I say possibly, I think it's about 100% true. Because there might not have been a heck of a lot of reason to get out of this short. And part of it's because I was trying to bottom pick yesterday. We had some longs we kind of liked, and I like a firm long term. But obviously that short I could have been hung on to through pre-market lows. When it broke down off the open, this thing got down to 102 and change. So there is a level down here that I feel like there's some buyers. We called out like 100. I think between 100 and 103, if it ever gets anywhere close to that, that's where I'd be trying to buy the dip. This time in front of it, not waiting for the perfect price again and missing it on a firm. If it gets down to 102, 103, I'll find my way into a long for sure and find a better way to hold it.
Yeah, and we're doing the same thing here with Boeing as we just took another bid down here at 213. So I'm still sick to my stomach that we missed that $1.40 by 1 cent. But you know, we're back in. So whatever, we're not going to, as Neil says, cry over spilled milk. We'll let this continue to go to the upside here and hopefully produce a winner for us. We're long right here at 213.40. So hey, it's not so bad after all. It's just, you know, would have liked to have reloaded down here instead of doing that. And I'm getting some credit. And again, it's you guys are the one with the credit. Congratulations, Steve G. They're talking about a nice trade. Oh, wow, Smile Direct. Like, again, another name that we missed by 5 cents to the upside there. Just, you know, I need to get less specific with my prices and just start hammering these things. Smile Direct, look at this, man, all the way back down. We talked about that yesterday. I mean, it's a money day trade and trade for you guys yesterday. We mentioned that. You guys looking for trades at the 3 p.m. show. I said Smile Direct for a swing on the short side. So there it is. You're now in the money 2.5%. If you did take that name to the short side yesterday, Smile Direct, beautiful bottom there at 580. This is near where we talked about going long off of yesterday's bottoms there. But you know, with Smile Direct going to the downside and the NASDAQ coming to the downside, I don't really want to hold Smile Direct short or long right now. It's in this range still. This would have been good. I would have liked to see it wipe out a little bit more, but instead it was just like a steady move to the downside. This is where we said we'd go long, and now it's popping back up a little bit, but we're not in Smile Direct. But hey, thanks for the love there, Steve G. But honestly, man, I only used to just fire off the hot dogs. It's you guys that are catching them. So good job there on Smile Direct, whoever shorted that one. And again, we missed that by 5 cents on Smile Direct. So good trade there for anybody that had that one.
I want to come back to ATR because it is bouncing, and we should have showed this one here. $15 was the breakout price yesterday. $15 was where the buyer was this morning, and that's where it seems like it's turning. So I've gotten out of it, but here's the bottom end of the range from yesterday's, I guess, breakout. You're going to call it like 1570 or so. All when in doubt, zoom out. And when I see that 1570 trying to retest here, I kind of like this range on ATER. If it holds it to the offer side, I think it can be a short through that 15 even again. I just don't want it breaking past that VWAP. Someone was just asking about life. You know, it's not about, I don't want to ignore this stock, but I also don't want to trade it inside of 1150 to 12 even. It's just chop, chop, chop. It was a great long in the morning. We were long in the pre-market. All the trades were sitting in the pre-market ended up being the best ones. And then it tried to break out through the top. We were able to get some out at 13, but the reload was no good. And I'm sitting this out. If it breaks 1150, it's a short. I'm not taking a 12 even break. I'll take an 1150 short side trade, and then I'll play off of the 13 level if it tries to go back up there. And NVC still looks pretty good. And I'm sitting on the bid and a firm, if only because there's no way that I want to miss any push down into that 103 range. So I'm going to be on the bid in front of 103 in case this gets absolutely crazy into the downside. I'm not saying it will, but you never really know. The bottom dropped out on that thing yesterday, and if the market stays weak, it could again today. Support was unable to get back above that 1750. So the weakness is still on. It's short sell restricted, down more than 10%. So below that 1750, and now I'm going to call it the 1760. That's the pre-market bottom. This is the last time it kind of got up here, about 1760 or so. That's where my out's going to be. I'm going to sit on the offer in the quarters and then give it to 1760 on a short in support. Yes, it's redonkulous short interest. That's why the tight stop on the short.
Redonkulous.
I mean, like 90-something percent, 70%, the numbers getting thrown out for that are pretty insane.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe when Brendan was bringing us some of those numbers that we talked about for sure on there. So Boeing right now, let's see, man. I mean, roller coaster ride on Boeing. We take one piece out, 25% out there for flat as it goes right back to 40. So, you know, now it's going to look like we're flatted, or our price is 28. Really, realistically, it's 40 there. So we'll see. I do want to get something out if we go back up to this area, sort of where we average leveraged into that spot there. It's going to be a good winner for us. Let's just let this thing continue to high fly here at 213.80 is my next spot there. And then look where Palantir turned on, VWAP. Giving us another chance to go short right now, so we'll do that. There's that 69 short that we told you we were waiting for. So sometimes it comes back in and we get that. There goes Boeing as well. Hopefully that can hit 80. We're at 80 on Boeing, so if that takes out when we go to Brendan, you know we got another piece out there, another 25% waiting to get out a couple more pennies out here on BA. Give it to them, Brendan.
VRPX, guys, that halt we were talking about in the pre-market ends up being an offering down big time. 35%, all the way back to 6. This thing was 10 yesterday, or about 10 for VRPX.
Guess what else is falling today? Cassava Sciences, once again, well, I shouldn't say once again breaking lows. Well, yeah, once again breaking lows. I suppose we can say that because it just broke this bottom at 45. Yeah, this thing could be headed down towards the 30s, and if this thing's going down, I want to find a way to get into it here today. Now, it wasn't on the radar, but when it starts going, we got to be able to play it. If there's a relief rally, I'm fading it. It's going to be around this 46 level, no matter what. You're not wrong until it breaks 47.50, which is that high. So if it takes up 47.50, I probably lost on the short at some point. I'm not necessarily going to short 44s here, but I'm going to start working into it if it retakes that 45 area and give it all the way to 47.5. Because this stock could be on its way down to the high 30s at some point. I'm not saying it happens today, but we've seen the stock put in moves like that, 10, 20, 30% moves, 50% moves to the downside even. As Life, that broke 11.50 and I did not get the short. So I guess my stop was not aggressive enough. Let's see if I can pick some up here, maybe in the high 30s.
And we did, we'll do it back. Oops, was that the right one? Back.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry about that, Brendan. There we go. So we'll do I don't know, this right beside, I actually have the Brendan Lamb. I didn't even realize I had that right there, right beside my jumping up there. So there it is. We said enough is enough. We took it out right here at 60. So now we hold half only of our Boeing. But hey, a big positive trade for me today. We are well in the money on this now off of a nice little bottom feed there one more time. I still think we can get back upside, but this time we're not going to be too silly. We're going to wait around VWAP to get some out now. So if we can get that, we'll do that, and we'll celebrate hopefully a win for us on BA if it can take this out, man. 214 and change. But again, look at the S&P right now, starting to climb a little bit here, but that's 1, 2, like this is what, 6 or 7 minute candles in a row to the upside, now starting to fade out. That's just a 15-minute moving average right there, so you can see that's VWAP all the way up there, so we're nowhere near that on the futures. But right here, we do have this number, and if you could see here, I'll just right-click customization, you go to indicators. You see, this is VWAP, so volume weighted average price. There's no settings here or anything like that. So if you did want to, take that into consideration for the market, we're below it right now, and that's never a good sign. So, we have to stay a little bit negative on the market, which I am here. That's why we took that piece out there on Boeing. Looks like that might have been a good move here as Boeing's starting to fall just falls huge right back in there. So that looks like that's going to be a good out. And man, that Palantir reload, yeah, we did that, man. We reloaded. This is my favorite one, and we'll work on getting this. Rob, hopefully coming back, who knows when, I think next week?
Next week.
I think so. He's been gone for a bit now. I hope he's enjoying his time off there, but we reload again on Palantir. It doesn't look like much, guys, but that's a 69 reload, and then an out right there at 56, so that's 13 pennies. That's another out at 64, so now we'll hold the rest and see if we get that VWAP trade here. Palantir back-to-back jacks. They're small. They're definitely not huge wins, but today's a murky day, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys are crushing anything today. I mean, congratulations. The only thing that I really missed out on was, what I'm getting the credit for here was FSL, and it's the trades I don't have. FSL breaking through 650, so congratulations. Siren alert for that one. We talked about that in the pre-market, man. What a great break that was. Congratulations, Steve G and company, whoever has that. And then congratulations to everybody again that had Smile Direct off this short that we called that we missed by 5 cents. So again, not much happening. I think those were 2 big ones. I know Neil had a good one on Affirm as well, but hey, so far so good. We're just, any green day.
You got to be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, here, green day, Palantir, green hat. You don't need to set
Is that
the
why
world
it's
up.
green?
I don't know why. I'm going to say shout out to Trader Pratt, who, by the way, memes and movers in the building. If we have those guys.
I'm curious what he's wearing today, that's all.
Let's throw to Pratt. And
he had the Lehman yesterday. But anyways.
Quickly, if they're there, or at least Miss V. Let's see. I want to see Miss V again. Put Miss V on camera, or there he is. There. Hey, what's up, Miss V? I like the hair there.
Hi, Sean.
I like when you got the curls there, always looking nice. And from something we like to look at, let's go to Trader Pratt now, if we can. Is he sitting there? There he is. What up,
He's
Trader
focused,
Pratt?
man.
He's focused, man. He was getting ready
Tell
for the
Pratt to
memes
holla at
and
me,
movers,
man.
there we go. Memes and movers getting ready to blast off in 45.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure that I even want to wait too much longer to try and get this life position. I was just looking at ATR because it just volume spiked here and now might be heading back into the upside. Pre-market low was sitting at 1650. The rally off of 15 went exactly 10% from 15 to 1650. So that might be a bit of an out here if it continues to pop up. I want to be fading it. Remember, this is a heavily shorted stock, so you have to be careful with it. As good as it was this morning, those things can turn around in an absolute heartbeat. But as it screams into this level, if it tries to turn off 1650, I want to catch it on the way back down. As I see any slow, I saw a little bit of a slowdown there. Was able to get some at the quarters. I got a hard stop at 1650 on this. It's not about getting like timid or having paper hands here, but when you've made money on a stock to the short side and it flushes like this and it makes a bottom at obvious level like 15 even, you do not want to get destroyed shorting it on the way back up. Life is the opposite. Life, was good for the long side of the trade, and I would say you don't want to get destroyed going back into the long. So I was actually looking for the short when it broke that 1150. My stop was not aggressive enough. It's now consolidating in this range. I don't want it ripping my face off at 1135 with a short side of a trade, but at this point I might have to sit this one out, wait for a consolidation break at 11 even, or maybe a pop up into VWAP because I obviously missed the 1150 trade, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm still looking for some more to do here, and I don't want to do anything crazy. Let's go over to AMD again on the 1 minute. We talked about this on today's market, man, and I called this market a little murky, and there's not much happening. So, we got to be very, very careful with what we're trading, and, let's not put good money after good money. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, we're up today and we're positive. I know that's not the saying, but we'll watch that. Oh, Brendan brought us DATS, D-A-T-S. So this is a name that's been moving here today. We haven't really looked at it too much, but Brendan did bring it. It's up 23%. A nice move here, the 1 minute chart. It has, darn it, man, even this has calmed down a little bit. 830 though, let's see what that looks like. We've already been up here recently to 860 a couple days ago on the 1 day. Oh, brand new name. What up, DATS? I don't know why this would IPO at $3.50, but maybe it did, or maybe my chart's just not working. But we've already been up here to 880 or so. This could be a good short here for DATS. And by the way, guys, easy come, easy go here as Palantir rate to VWAP. Let's go. I am literally bidding right here. So hopefully we get this fill on this one. We go arrows down finally for Palantir. You know what? I might just take this out right now. It's been a good trade, man. This is 20 cents in the money, right back down to VWAP. Let's reward ourselves on this break of VWAP, though. Although I'm pretty negative on the market. Last time we were down here was 40. So I think this may be worth holding, although we are trying to get out some here on Palantir.
So Lucid is down 5%, but I want to show you guys the 15-minute chart just so you can, pull it back, sorry. You had a gap down previously from like a 20 level and made a ridiculous bottom here at like 15 even. It's been climbing ever since, double top, 2050, around this resistance. And then look at this. Like, I think if it takes out, it's about 1170 here. It's very, very close to the pre-market, or I guess the morning low here at 1880. If this gets taken out, you got room down to 1750 to 18 even. So Lucid definitely under some more pressure. I did get that. I was about to say Spirit, but it's support. I did get that support trade. For the context, this is a 1750 level that broke that double bottom. I know it's heavily shorted, so I do have a tight stop on this. I was able to get it here on the way back up at 1725. I'll give it to this 60-65 area. Otherwise, look, if I'm risking 35 plus slippage, I'm not getting it out in front of 17 even. I want to hold this through a 17 break and then just see if the floodgates open up to the downside. Brendan?
Just seeing this AEI, once again, this one popped up yesterday a couple of times. Allset, eHome International. Another little one, they disclosed a large position in that document security. DSS, I believe, is the ticker for this one. But another one moving here, AEI up 15%.
AEI. So we're going to add, again, always add these to your quote. You don't have to trade every single name here, but you want to trade what's actually moving. On a day where we've anticipated that like some things might not happen or might be slow on some stocks till Apple comes out and the market looking relatively weak. It can't even hold up on that rally. Trade what's moving. So I'm adding AEI to my list. I thought that Halton VRPX was going to be something. I don't know if it is. But I want to get to Open Door quickly here because we talk about the offerings don't have to be bad. Well, I would say buying it up this 70 cents or so, certainly a good sign for things holding up. for open. This was off of a key support anyways at 16.14, 16.40 to 16.60. I kind of felt if it had broken that would have been a short. Instead, it feels like we're going into the upside. It's still down, because remember it gapped down. So it's still down about 3%, but the break is certainly on an open door. If it pulls back and holds 17, I think that's not a bad entry point. I'm just going to stick with support, which, as I just mentioned, I was holding through a 17 break. That has happened. I'll look down to 16.50 for the first out, 50 to 75, I should say, for the first out on support.
Okay, I was trying to review the sticky note here to see if there's anything else that we may be missing on the list here. We have Smile Direct, we have Apple, we have support. Neil's talked about that. Boeing, we have ATER, and we actually talked about some stock named Kern. So we can look at Kern here. Down to $3 was some resistance there, or some support actually at $3. You could see here on the daily for Kern. This is a 10-minute chart actually. Some support down right where we are right now. So 364 down into some support here. So there is something here on KERN. Again, don't know too much about this name on the daily chart though. It's been very, very bouncy, but there's that $3 move here into support maybe for Kern. So nice little move down. If you want to take any risks, you could do that there on that one. AMD not really moving. That DAT's not doing anything. You already traded blue a little bit here today. Moderna to 437. Let's have a look there, as this one can be a mover as well. We'll look at Moderna when we get back.
Yeah, we'll do this one for ATR continues to be the gift, and there's another big sell. So it rejects 1650. So, and again, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying these things are easy, but again, go to the 15-minute chart. This is what 15 was in yesterday's action. Top, breakout. This is what we're talking about with that 1650 area here, though. So 1650, you had some consolidation. You had a pre-market bottom here at 1650. That's why I like to reload at that price. Now, am I going to get some shares out on the way to 15? Of course. If I think 15 is turned into support and already is held once, then I'm going to anticipate that it might hold again. So I like the short on ATR, obviously. I'm going to get a bid out in front of this 15 even, just so we see if we can get flat. If I can bag on the second trade, a buck on the last of these shares, we'll go ahead and take it. Support, we're still trying to hold out for a little bit more. Sitting in front of that 1650 area here on that little bit of a breakdown, and we'll see if we can cash the fill. I'm still in NNVC. I really don't know if this one, I mean, I'm not saying it's done moving into the downside, but it just broke this low here, the opening range bottom, 475, and didn't exactly go screaming in. Like, it immediately bounced off 465 when I thought it was going to head straight to 450. So I'm going to park something, in front of 450 and then just see if we can get the heck out of Dodge on this one on the next move into the downside. I'd hate to give it all the way back up, but this is a short again for me if it gets to that 530 to 40 area in front of a 550 level that we like for the short on the NNVC.
Great work on FSL, guys. 90-cent winner. I mean, good job, man. Sean, sharp as a katana. Actually, that's hilarious. I actually have this amazing katana blade. Maybe I'll tweet that out for you later in case someone breaks into my house. I can just easily dismember people. So yeah, we do. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, so we'll tweet that out, the katana, when I get home. I'll show it to you. It's a legit one, too. So that should be fun. But, okay, so here's Moderna here. 438 right now coming through here. So we can watch out for Moderna. I do like it. We've talked about that over and over again. Why do we like Moderna? Again, it's just one of those names that continues to be a high flyer. Great action today off the bottom 418. They took off on the NASDAQ, then took off again. So if we can break this 438, so there's no problem with that. The only thing is, if we do break 438, here's a 20-minute. We do have a problem here at 440. Not a problem, but that may be a spot where we do figure out a stopping area here for mRNA. So watch out for that breaking through 440 soon on Moderna. But I do like a 438 break to the upside. So that should be coming sooner rather than later. You can play the same break to the bottom if you like Moderna there, breaking back down through 435. I would prefer to play the long on this one, but NNVC, I just ruined it, my bad. But that's going to be the short. Is it a short? I believe it was a short today.
Oh, yeah.
Good short there on NNVC. We'll talk about that with small cap recap. Although, yeah, it looks like a good short. It's Brendan over at the big screen. He'll dissect this trade for you.
Like you have to ask. Let's talk about NNVC. Volume, first thing to note, guys, volume already not great. Dying off very quickly here. It made that push back up to almost session highs here, 530, 540, 550 was the level we talked about just before the open there. 5 and then 550 were the two levels I was watching. So yeah, it's kind of dying off already, stuck in the range from the pre-market, but see if I can get a 450 fill and then be done with NNVC. But yeah, decent one. Kind of tricky though, all across the board. Now this thing breaks. Wow, I made a mess of this. What is this again? JCS. Super thin, very, very thin, so be careful with this one. Little bit of a level at 840 through to 850 here in the pre-market that I was working off of, got stopped at a half, ended up punching into way too many shares when it looked like it was going to break 8. Got out of that immediately, and then I just got away from it because it looked like it was going to sit there at 8 and support that. But now it breaks, Neil, now it breaks. ATER was the other one, obviously pretty self-explanatory. 1725 and then 8 was this level from the afternoon. This thing flushes off the open all the way down to 1450. So a great opportunity there. Back over to Neil.
It's almost like, like you hear Brendan there, now it breaks, now it breaks. I mean, I didn't get the short on JCS on the pop. I just shorted the break just now when it broke that 8 even. So first time in for me, and again, relatively tight stop because it's a redonkulously low float. So 95 short, stop above that 820 mark, call it 825. Okay, not call it 825. My stop's at 825. I'm not even going to make it up. So if it breaks that, fine. I'm going to get out some in front of quarters, get out some in front of 750s and see if we can't hold on for dear life. Hey, see what I did there? See what I didn't do there? I mean, I talked about I don't want the long in life. I don't want to give a blah, 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 blah. 1150 short, didn't catch it. My order wasn't aggressive enough. Canceled my offer to get short in the consolidation, thinking it might pop and give me a higher price, and life continues to fall. So I'm short everything right now. Don't have any longs, and life is the one that I don't have into the short side. I wish I did, but I certainly don't. I still want to give it a chance to pop up and give me a short offer this 1150 again. I don't know if that is going to happen for me. ATER continues to slide into the downside. I'm bidding out of this in front of this 15 level. And this is actually 15.25. I'm just playing this range now, right? Like we already got, I mean, as Brendan already went over, the pre-market shorts on this. We're all short of pre-market. And then at the open for Sean on the break. And then I'm just going to play the range here, not want to throw away that money that we've made. Support continues to the downside. It just flushed through 16. I don't really have targets on this to the downside anymore. This is what the chart looks like on the daily, which is ridiculous. This is what it looks like on the 15 after it's broken that double bottom. There is a cluster from that break, which we're shorting, way back here, going back to the 26th. I say way back, that's like a couple weeks ago. And then if you were to look at that same session on the break, this would be the low at about $14. So is it crazy that we see 15, 14 levels like that? I don't think so. I'd like to at least hold this one into a 16 break and see what happens. Start thinking about trailing stops. I also see IC making another move up. This was one from yesterday that we're certainly trading in the afternoon show. It just on volume broke out at 1550. This is kind of orderly. Like it spikes up and then I know it wicked up to 1620, but then holds essentially 16 even and is coming right back down into 1550. So on that theory, I kind of want to see if it just holds 1550, get long at 51 or 52, and then scalp it out 75s into this cluster here. So that's what I'm looking for in IC. I don't know if we get it, but every now and then these stocks just follow these patterns along, the quarters and the evens, and I want to see if IC can do the same thing for me here. Just coming back over to a big cap name, which we're not really. I'm not trying to ignore Oracle. It's not like there's no reason for doing it, but this is what we like to call whippy action, or it's not really a barcode because I know it's like a dollar range, but this is now like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times it's going back and forth as if someone is manipulating the stock in Oracle, doing a heck of a lot of nothing. It does feel like it's catching a bit of a bid, so maybe the idea of I didn't actually short it, I just sort of said if you were holding a short, it might be good to see if you can get some more through 85. I think that could be done. If you're holding that 830 rollover short, whoops, that's a daily chart. If you're holding an 830 rollover short at this particular point, yeah, holding on to it may not make so much sense if it breaks 86.15 here. Brendo, what's up, bud?
KPLT, Catapult, back on the move here. Big volume spike. You can see volume still coming in at day highs. This is one that was pretty crazy going back to last week, gave us a couple of opportunities. Up 10% though for KPLT.
I remember Catapult. We were talking. I have a Catapult key somewhere, and believe me, if I could find it, I would have already hit it for you guys. But it is just rejected like I'd say like several times here at 750. This is an opening range. It's not really a pre-market high. It's like an opening range break, or at least failed break for now on volume that is trying to come right back in. So there is some longs that already got shaken out of this. I want to say when it broke 750 because it sort of came back right through this I guess pullback level at 735. That's likely to have stopped some people out there. There was a lot of volume down at that particular price, and it still looks to be shaking people out. So I don't know how clean this trade looks, but if you look at Catapult and that 750 level, this is what it is on the daily chart, and probably why everyone wants to be long this bloody thing. And it's more like 785 to 8 when it really starts to take off. But this is starting to get to one of those things where on the 15, just so it looks a little bit more clean. At some point, this thing you think will go. I would wait until it actually takes out this previous high from the third, like 775. That's where I think you take the breakout long, not this 750 here, because it's just sort of chop up, and it's because you're going to get stopped out of this long over and over again, which it seems like it's already doing. Let it take the actual top and just participate in that one and catapult, and then maybe you'll catapult your profits to the upside.
Yeah, we haven't done
that
this.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, that was okay. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to get, Moderna just breaks and we don't get long because it goes through the level 358 real fast there. How far did we cross up? We only crossed up to 438.20. That was a mistake, but there goes Moderna breaking now through that 438. So all aboard the Moderna train. Backflips if you have that. Damn it. This is the problem. Like, I missed that again. Only crossed up 20 cents. Thought that was good enough. There's Moderna ripping up $1 for you there. You might have saw the fruit salad. So there it is. Here's the fruit salad today, brought to you by the color green. So we got a lot of, honeydew and green. The other camera may be better. We have a couple different variations of green in there, including grapes and honeydew melon there. Okay, so now we are in right now to Moderna, 438.20. It does come back in and fill us a little bit there. The high there, 439 and change, so we can slip some out there. We do want to average into this position as well. A breakthrough of 435 will get us out of that, but right now we are into Moderna. You said something about support there?
Support has broken support at 16. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get a lot of mileage out of that one. I tend to think here as it continues to go down. Now down 17%. It was about 10% last time we talked about it, and it continues to flush. I showed you on the daily chart like that 14 level. Maybe it gets to 14. I don't know. I'm probably covering in front of, well, not probably. I'm on the bid in front of 15 to get out of it if it does go. I'm looking trail at this point. I'm thinking I shouldn't be out of this thing unless it gets back above like 1650. So I'm going to trail all the way to 1650. It's either going down to 15 or trailing me out at 1650. I might adjust that. If we bounce off 1550 again, I might adjust my trailing stop, but either way, we'll trail to that 1654. Now, that JCS, wait all this time for it to break down, and here it goes. So it just took out, and I gave this to like 825, which I told you guys. Like, this is 820 here. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll just say 825 instead of telling you guys, yeah, my stop is just above 820. No, it's actually at 825, and it goes to 824, and it's trying to turn around. So I wait all morning long to short this thing on the breakdown, and then don't get any out at the bottom. And now watching it, try to reverse off that stop order. But like as Brendan said, this is a pretty thin stock. For something doing 5 million shares, the float is tiny, and it doesn't have a ton of lit liquidity either. A lot of dark pools going off in this name as well, but try to tread lightly. I would not trade this without a stop, even though it looks pretty thin. I just don't want to get caught off guard. The kind of thing that could halt on any kind of a big move up or down.
So right now, Moderna, $1.80 now in the money on Moderna. So a couple backflips there. That happened real quick. What up, Brendan?
We'll wait for that. Plug Power announced in the pre-market they were expanding their European operations and moving into other markets into Europe. So nice little pop here, 4.5% for Plug. Just had another volume alert there. Guess it was on the sell side. We broke 25.5 and then came right back down again. But you can see volume high, to say the least, on Plug today, guys.
Yeah, so I just double checked my account, and we had a stop order fill on DraftKings, not on the show, but in my own account there. So we'll just highlight that to you guys. We got out of DraftKings at 60.50, so 60.50 break right there. Went out of DraftKings now, no more in the swing account. We were long at $35. That was from a while ago, so that was from down here. We let it go all the way up to 72, and then right now I don't want to let this drop back down. I don't have good feels about September and what's been happening, so we'll wait here. We just got out of DraftKings right now at a 60.50 break and just got that alert in my email from a little while ago. Okay, Clover now as well. And again, I'm going to tell you guys the trades that I'm in, so hopefully you guys are in them as well. We've had some good ones lately. Clover, though, today we talked about that being a nice upswing on the day here. I think this has a chance to pop as well. It did actually go up quite nicely to 875 this morning, but still work to be done here on Clover longs. Was Brendan again? What's up?
My apologies. We forgot something very important. We moved Miss V over to the other side of the room for memes and movers, and I completely forget about her now because she's not in front of me. Let's get a check on Europe, Miss V. Tell them what is going on.
Hi, Brandon. European markets are mixed at this hour. JD Sports Fashion trading in London is up more than 8% after it reported a record first half profit. Back to you.
Yeah, things coming off over in Europe. Things back in the red, guys, here as well.
Yeah, support now down at 1540. I just saw a bid at 1528. So I just moved in front of what I saw on level 2. They're a big buyer, but someone just asked about, like, would you short fuel cell at 730? I've been monitoring this thing to look for a short, but I kind of feel like I'm going in the daily chart here. I'm looking at like 760 into like somewhere. It's a wide range. Holy crap! It's a 10% range between 760 and 835, the top of this little wick here. So that's what I've been holding out for, a push, and it got up to 750, tried to break out, and then came back in. This, I don't know, I hate to say it, like it has some feeling like it might not be done, at least as long as it holds these higher lows. So I'm going to hold off on this thing until it makes another test of that high, if not breaking it and getting into that 760 range, looking for a turn. It's still incredibly strong from what I can see. Speaking of IC, I never actually, whoops, that's IRNT. Oh, here we go, IC. I never actually got that bid, so I said I want to buy in front of 1550 because, oh yeah, breaks 1550 here, goes right up, and then holds 16 on the way back. Well, maybe it'll just turn around to 1550. That's it wicking down to 1553, so a lot of good that 52 bid's going to do me. Right back up to what price? Like 95s. So it goes right to, I mean, I don't know why it's so orderly. Part of the problem is $15 stock, 3 or 4 cent spread. And then I guess, like it's just people are going to be shaving in front of that every single time. So it's hard to get those levels. Probably had to be a little more proactive down here in that bid. Still has a chance to consolidation break 16 even on IC. But for now, I'll have to sit this one out as I missed that bid.
Yeah, we got flushed out there on Boeing, but we get right back in and we'll see if that is going to be the true downward move there on Boeing or not. Through 212 there, we got out through 212. Now we went back to the long. So we'll try it one more time. It's negative. We're negative on the stock, so no doubt about that. So we'll wait to see where Boeing goes now. Well, I mean, we're not that much negative, but this last take there at 212.40 just came out at 211.80. So again, we missed that tick by 1 penny, which is unbelievable. And then now we're sort of in a downward spiral with this name. 211.50 break, and we're going to be gone. We don't, I thought maybe we just got not wicked, but that 212 hit, people got flushed out. So now we're retesting the bottoms again. So 211 will be the break spot for me on Boeing. We'll try it just one more time here down to 211. I mean, 210 really maybe is the breaking spot, but again, not really reacting great here today. So let's let Boeing fly down. That doesn't make sense. Let's let Boeing go down to a little bit more. If we take out that 210, then that's going to be a bad sign for us. So let's wait to see what happens there. But we're going to average in a little bit more at 211 one more time. And then 210 is going to be our ultimate out here on BA. But we did get out of our initial spot there. And Moderna, at least this is a good one. Moderna, nice little fly upside here to 240 right here. So it's a good long for us. We have this long right here at 38. Just touching 41s right now. So maybe we get it out at 41 and just put the $3 in our pocket on MRNA. Good trade so far on that name.
Yeah, and I'm moving, after that 15.28 bid that I saw, I'm going to move my trail on support to that 16 area and see if we can get out of it. I did not hold it. So I wait all morning long for the breakdown in JCS, and that doesn't work because I don't take it out when it breaks and gives you a small win. And then I don't hold on to ATR, which has been the better short. So as good as it was taking the reload, it gives you that dollar move. It just broke the low of the day and is continuing to slide to the downside. As mentioned on support, I know it's still going down here. I still have a bid, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel this bid, at least for now. I've trailed it now instead of 1650, 16 even. If this gets taken out, we'll just walk away from this, take over the buck on it, and then see what happens. If it takes out a 15.25 bottom, I'll probably give it a chance to test 15 even, because if that breaks, I think it's headed to 14. So might as well hang on to it. The trail has moved down. That means I can no longer, I don't need to be sitting on the bid the way I was before. Going into some names that, again, I'm not trying to ignore them. Usually we talk about Virgin Galactic on a weekday. Not a weekday as in like, today's Tuesday. On a week overall day in the market. The last one moved to the downside here. We're flat. Virgin Galactic is up because why not, right? So it just kind of rallies. When it failed, breaks through that 23.85. It cannot get again. Bounces back above this 24. The amount of times this stock just keeps teasing you that it's going to break down through these levels and then fail. Like, if you just took every single time, broke 24, like, you're just losing every single day. And it still feels like if this stock can follow through, call it like 23.75, 23.50, it is headed down to 20. But it keeps holding and holding and holding. And I keep wanting to be shorted. I will short it if it gets to 26. But at some point, if you can't beat them, join them. It already wicked through 25 and came back into the downside. I kind of feel like if it can hold 24.50 and take this level out again, there might be a long play, and I hate saying that. I don't hate saying it. What am I talking about? When I prefer the stock for the short, but it is setting up to take out some of these levels to 25 and then give you like a nice little 25 to 50 cent winner. It's still a short at 26. Oddly enough, I think it said the same thing about Plug. Similar charts, same price. Different story, but if Plug got to 26, I'd short that too.
Yeah, apparently, we'll talk about Pfizer here a little bit. It's not. Come on, let's go. It's not rocket science, but they were, and this is an old report, but right now they are having a conference right here at the Morgan Stanley conference, and they're talking right now. It's not moving, but having a vaccine, and again, whether or not you believe in it's up to you, but a vaccine between 5 and 11 years old here apparently by mid to late September, I guess, by September's end. So. That's now. So maybe next week or so, you get an announcement from Pfizer. And, if you're looking at a daily chart here, Pfizer's right at good support now at its 50-period moving average. So we'll see about that Pfizer look. I think that's a good look for them. More, and they talked about having 3 billion vaccines available. I don't know. They must not be making too much money on the vaccines, because that doesn't seem to be too much of an effect right now.
BNTX probably moves more.
Yeah. We'll look at BNTX, BioNTech, and then we do also have Moderna. Fell right back in, so right to where we're long again there. We did take out $1, but now we're holding that not against us, but we're holding that back to 440. We talked about getting out at 440. We let it run upside. We should have got out when it broke back to the downside as the NASDAQ, yuck. The NASDAQ right now starting to crack, which is going to turn that board that Brendan's sitting in front of pretty red, I think, very, very soon if it's not already. Let's go over to Brendan at the big board for happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, pretty red board. Note on that Pfizer as well. I was just reading they're expecting 50+ approval for a possible third shot booster as well for Pfizer. So 0.4 overall now for the market. Yeah, we talked about these casinos in the pre-market. Here they are. LVS win MGM 4.7 to 11% to the downside for LVS now. Pretty ugly win, about 10% there as well. So all of the travel names within the consumer discretionary group under pressure. NCLH, CCL, RCL I saw earlier, 1.2%. So all the cruise lines as well being dragged along to the downside. Etsy, the only one up here in the corner standing out in positive territory, 2%. So consumer discretionary, industrials leading the way. Far side of the board over here, communication stocks are under pressure today as well. That's Comcast, 5.3%. That Chatter as well, CHTR is here, Discovery, both of them, A and B shares to the downside today. Dish here as well, I noticed Fox, 1.7% through to about 3% to the downside. So communication stocks, energy stocks. Remember yesterday was a bit of a bounce back day for energy stocks. We're back in negative territory. Really the only positivity coming from the healthcare group. In fact, Moderna here, 3.8% to the upside, PRGO. Notable as well, 3.5%. Everything else around 2.5 to 2% to the upside, but trying to offset the rest of this board, which you can see is pretty negative, but only 0.36 for the market, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And I just realized on CEI, which everyone is screaming about here, and probably rightfully so, we don't have locates on it. So I'm sure we do pay for, 1 cent a share. Look, you know what? If this was like 5 cents a share, I wouldn't pay for it. It's a $1.50 stock, but for 1 cent a share, it's worth it. That means Arun wouldn't trade it. Everyone has to have their own principles. Principle is priceless, but he always says he'll never pay for shorts regardless of the price. But here is this 165 level on the 15-minute chart here. That just goes back to Friday when it made a screaming run Thursday and Friday into this top and reversed. The daily chart on this thing is absolutely insane. But it had been selling off last couple of sessions after a monster move in. There was this level that previously got taken at a 155, which looks pretty good on the daily chart, and then failing through when it broke to 165. So we're looking at the same entry range here, 155 to 165 on a bit of a turn. You get a confirmation that it stalls out in the middle of that range here at a 160 top. That means to me work into the short off of that previous high. So as easy as I say it, that's what I'm going to start doing. So I just got some, and I just hit like edge A. So you actually get paid to hit like that gateway because it's a reverse model gateway. But CEI is going to trade pretty thickly here. I was just looking at a firm, so that's why this is up, unfortunately. So there you go. 155, it just took some shares there. I will add to this in front of 160. My stop won't be at this high here at 160. I think 165 is the absolute top on CEI. Lots of room to come back into this 150 level when it started picking back up. That's where I take the first leg out, next 145 even. And because it's not a penny stock, but it might as well be a penny stock in terms of how you think about it. When you're trading this, if I get more shares at 58, I wouldn't hesitate to start just taking them out, like, putting bids every 5 cents or so and take advantage of the ridiculous volume that's probably going to be able to do and that relatively tight range that you're going to see in CEI. But I'm not saying the run is over. Certainly if you took out 165 on the daily chart, there's lots of room to the upside, but this is a confirmation that sellers are trying to take control between 155 and 165.
And sometimes, I know you had a great trade there, but look at this ATR breakdown of 1575, guys. Do you guys see where ATR is? Moderna just dropped to the downside, so we'll talk about that. But join me with Sticky Note Nation if you did want any piece of that. So Moderna actually, and I feel bad, but this was a opportunity for me, and we did make money. We are positive on Moderna. I just wish we would have been able to discuss the trades more as they were happening here. But in there and out at 39 cents a dollar. Then we took bid here at 36 there when we went to the big screen with Brendan. You might have saw that come in. So that's at 36.14. That's out at 38. So that's $1.90 right there on that part. And then the last part, we dumped it out there for about $1 loss. So through 36, out there at 34. So Moderna right now positive for us today. It's going to be, look, ATER. I mean, we can't talk more about that. We could talk more about it, but what a great short that was, up to 1650. Like, I can't believe we ignored that. But we did have 1575 early, hammered that one. Still my number one stock, actually. Boeing. We had this a couple times. This was a great out, and I probably would have been out of it and not worried about it. But instead, we averaged in. This is going to be the only losing stock. But all this has to get back is at 1250 right here, and we're back in the money on Boeing. So, okay. Moderna, we just talked about that. And then Palantir, man, when we don't short it too often, but when we do, it's a scalp. So we will scalp off here on Palantir and put that money in our pocket and now just wait. It is starting to make some bottoms here in the 30s. So that was something to look at. But we did take our last piece out there. Look at this, short 69 or 68, 69 actually. We're pissed when we missed it that time, but we got it again. And then we should have just put it back there again as well. I missed that one. But out there at VWAP a couple times. So there's small trades, but honestly, unless I have this big one here on Palantir early, that's pretty good. And what we're doing now is, you have to do this. We talked about how murky the waters were today. And when that happens, I just like to do this, man. When the money comes down in, you're going to see, and again, I think Neil's doing the same thing. I know Brendan is because we talked about that
done, yeah.
On the small cap recap. And that is just scalping right now. If you don't see any big trades, there's no point in really making them. The market today was, highly positive off that CPI number, then got faded in. It's going to be 7 straight days of negative here on the NASDAQ unless the afternoon somehow turns this around.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you there. Like, I don't want to get barcoded around here, but I talked about there being a bit of a buyer, and it was a size buyer. I think I want to say at 15.28, if my memory isn't completely deserting me here on support. And I had every opportunity when I saw that it was close enough to that 15 target, that it was right in front of that quarters, that I could have just gotten out, if not at 15.50. Instead, I put the trail at 16 even. I probably threw away 50 extra pennies there for no reason. But it's still a good short. I'm just thinking back to myself, in that situation, when I see a bid like that, why am I not covering 15.50? Why am I giving it all the way back to 16 even? That was probably the wrong decision there. I was looking for that home run trade, and obviously, when you see a stock that does this, support and starts winding back in, you start to say to yourself, when you have another capitulation, it's kind of like in Sava, right? Like when that was going down, it just always felt like you should have been holding that short even longer than you thought. So I kind of got myself into that mode. It looks okay on this time frame. Like it looks pretty good, this short. If I look at the 15 and I pull it back here, yeah, what's so odd about that trail? But that 50 cents was obvious when that monster buyer was sitting in front of 15 even. So we always try to review the trades and go over why we think we can improve on them. I'm still in NNVC, not NMVC. But I'm on the bid in front of this cluster here, and I had the 15-minute up, and I'm going to show you. When this broke out pre-market, this is all the time that it's spent on relatively low volume, mind you, in front of that 450. But I definitely want to take the last of it out in front of that range. I'm going to probably start scaling out a CEI and then scalping that one in front of that 155 to 160 area that we talked about before. And I still haven't found my way into IC, which is on this break, and we're talking about that 15.50 break, again on the 15-minute chart. It's been stalling out at 16 even. I'll drop you back into the one so you can see. It's been turning around at 16. It gave you two entries here. I don't get either one of them at 15.50, unfortunately. Now looking to finally break out to 16, but the volume tapering off. So I don't want to force anything at this time. I kind of think you want to be allowing these moves to happen, wait for something to break out on volume, look for the levels that you liked previously, which leads me back over to Life, which is still making a bit of a move to the downside. It's holding this level here, that 1135, which is random. I like the 1150, but if it continues any lower, and this is at 8 o'clock when it pulled back, is 1175. 1050 set up like this, 1175 is setting up. I hope to get this short if it breaks 75. I don't want to go any more than, aggressively like 6 or 7 cents because it's an $11 stock. But that cost me missing out on the trade at 1150. If it cost me here at lunchtime, I'll live with that. But 1175 break setting up on Life.
I mean, the chart of the day, and my opinion goes to one of these casino names. I mean, we talked about this earlier on when it was only down 8%. But look at Win. I mean, if you're not going to be shorting this one, I mean, it's just straight to the downside, down 11.34%. Brendan talked about, we talked about why that was. First of all, Macau, apparently the Chinese government looking to put more regulations on the gaming industry. Yeah. That's bad, especially because we know how much revenue comes for both Las Vegas Sands and Wynn over in Macau. So again, the same movement to the downside right now in LVS. It's crazy because just yesterday, I almost reached out and stepped into some of these names yesterday, and I did not. So wow. Now you're getting this one. LVS is right back. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, and right back to March of 2020 lows. I'm not sure you're going to find, and tell me if I'm wrong, tweet at me at TraderTV if you know of another name of like a big legit kind of business company. I'm not talking about Smile Direct or anything like that, but a company that's been around for ages that does have a legitimate business that is back down to
for ages.
It's March and 2020 lows right now. LVS off to that. Win, you're nowhere near. Oh, Win is NASDAQ. No, Win, remember, $35 is the bottom here on Win. Okay, so LVS obviously having a lot more problems than we even know about, and do more work on that. But LVS right now, wow, that might be something. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so as I see something, people talking about that.
Oh, I know the answer.
I'm not comparing anything to Rocket.
No, I know the answer to that one.
What?
It's gonna be like Alibaba or one of the Chinese names.
Putting on
it's gonna be one of the Chinese companies.
Yeah,
for
I mean
sure.
that's what they're saying. They're saying Alibaba, but
kind of cheap. But
the point about Alibaba is, okay, I would agree with them. Alibaba might even be lower than where it was in March of 2020. I don't think we were even down here. No, we were not. See? Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, we are lower than where we were in March of 2020. So yeah, you know what? Anything Chinese is going to be that, and I do stand corrected there. Chinese names.
No, but the point's still valid.
No, yeah, thank you. But I meant more non-related to Chinese. But LVS is obviously being affected here by some of those headwinds by the Chinese government. So, hey, man, you invest with them just like my Alibaba position in the gutter. But Brendan over there right now has money talk. So at least, Brendan, tell me the Canadian dollar is at least going up a little bit.
It's not too bad.
It is not. Let's have a look. 0.2 to the downside today, 78.8. So we got CPI in the U.S. that is a little bit lower than expected. So that has the dollar under pressure here. 92.5 for the U.S. dollar today on the DXY, if you want to pull that up. 0.16 to the downside. There was also some numbers in Australia that came out hotter than expected. So CPI in the U.S. a little bit less than what they were expecting, but Australia not so much. So 0.5% to the downside, 73.25. 0.2 here. That's the Aussie over there. Decent level here from a couple months back on the daily chart for the Aussie US dollar. Yeah, crypto's having a decent day overall. 2 and change percent back above 45,000 for Bitcoin, 3,300 and change, 1.5% for Ethereum. Guys, back to you.
So someone asked, do I have any interest in short in FSL? I saw that under 7. And I sort of said when it came up there, I was like looking at that 760 level a little bit more interesting to me. So I didn't take it. I haven't really looked at it since, and I'm kind of looking to be patient with it. CEI just came back into VWAP here. So like I said, like, you know, even if I got more, then maybe we could have been a little bit more aggressive with this. But I never got any more shares in that 55, the initial entry there. Let the selling come in first. So when it broke that 55, work it down in here to VWAP and start taking it out. If it goes down to 40, fantastic. If it comes back up short in that range again, this time I would wait for it to get into the 55 to 60 range to get some more short now that it's confirmed that price range. It's still a bullish stock, both on the daily chart. Both on the daily chart, actually the daily's way too far back because I was just looking at Alibaba. But both on the daily chart, and if you look at the 15 here, it's at least a little bit more clean to see why you're looking at some selling come in at these particular prices. That 165 top, the lower high being a 155. So FSL, I will give this look for anyone that actually shorted the top, which would be congratulations. I did not. As I just mentioned, I like that 760 a little bit better. This is what someone's asking about, like if it breaks 7 even here, does that look pretty good? Yeah, but I mean, if I just look quickly at where the buyers were coming into it on dips, that was more at 685 to 690. So that's why I don't like the 7 even break. I mean, it does look pretty, it looks okay and it looks a bit juicy there, but I'd much rather lean into looking at Life to the south side, which is much weaker on the pullback. Like give me a break. Like how many times am I actually missing out on that Life short? I still like it if I can get it around VWAP, and I'm still, for now, going to be shorting an 1175 breakdown, although I might get away from this because the way the volume is on this thing, it kind of feels like I should be shorting pops, not looking at a breakdown when it's come off $2 already and I've done nothing. I got some long out at the top, but like how am I not short Life at any point since the open is ridiculous. When it does one of those wipeout 930 pops, I should be short here when I was going long again. I definitely should be short here. I 1,000,000% should have been short when it broke that 1150. I did not get that either. So now I have to patiently wait for a pop into VWAP to take a shot at Life.
Okay. Yeah, Boeing again. We're at 212.35. We talked about that a couple times. So it just went to 212.30. I'm not even going to change my bid or my offer. I'm just going to wait there. I'll try to take 35 cents on this. And again, that's just going to be out 20%. I still think Boeing has a chance to get back into here, this 213-ish range, but we keep bouncing up right up against this area, 212.40. So we're waiting at 35. So, you know, let's wait to see. We were waiting at 50 when this was happening. Now we'll just down tick our expectations here for Boeing. But hey, man, if this just gets back to 212.50, believe it or not, we'd be positive on the name. But that needs to happen first. So we'll take. Here comes the downside. We'll take a little bit out at 212.35 if it gets going. We just need the market to go, and then that should be good for us there. AMD, I mean, one to watch here as we're getting ready to throw you over to memes and movers, and we'll tell Prad to watch out for 107 here on AMD. I think that could come into play. I mean, just a big move up. Stopped again just recently at 106. So if we take out that top, that might be something. But right now, this is just a 1 minute chart. I like this buyer down here at 104.50. 12:30 on AMD. So that's going to be something to watch as well. Microsoft positive on the day. What? Okay, that's nice. So Microsoft sticking above into the green here on a day when the market looks to make new lows right now. Microsoft still taking out highs, not taking out highs, but still staying on the green side right now. Big time barcoding. But hey, if this market turns around, 299.40 or so on soft day may be good. Can't believe I missed this trade again, but hopefully Boeing does start to rip up and we get that 212.35 print. Only 3 minutes to go. Remember, join us for Memes and Movers. You're going to get pushed right over there. So there's absolutely nothing for you to do. It should be fun. Neil Knight coming back. We give them a break at 12:30, right?
Yes, sir. We give them a lunch break because they got to eat.
Yeah, so they'll come back. We'll come back at 12:30 if they want. And they can stay on the whole time if they want to. But that's what's happening soon. Memes and Movers in 2 minutes.
And of course, I never got that Sava short. So, I mean, I probably don't want a 45.50 fill now. So I'm going to cancel that order. When Sava's going down, you just got to find your way into a short. I think that's the lesson for me here today, that if you like Sava Sciences to the downside, well, when it gets going and breaks a low like that 46, you got to find your way into the short opportunity. I see you guys talking about a firm before we get out of here. I shorted it once. Off this level, this is like 1, 2, 3 times off of the pre-market high. It just took that out. And the reason I'm not shorting 111, remember yesterday, 112 is where the players dwell. That's where the longs were ceasing, and that's where we shorted at that one successful time on the pullback. And then from there, 115 was another level on a firm. Only 2.5 minutes to go. So a couple of things. I know there's an IPO. Brendan, we want to talk a little bit about the IPO that's coming out today?
Yeah, I just saw our friends at CNBC talking about this, so I thought I would bring it up. Sports Radar Group, sports betting platform from Switzerland. 19 million shares at $27, so 500-ish million on the value for this IPO. So it's SRAD, not open yet, but SRAD IPO today. We're going to go to Miss V and get a check on what day it is.
Thank you, Brandon. And hey, guys, thank you very much for trading with us this morning. I hope you're having a great day so far. And me and Prad can't wait to take you over to Memes and Movers. Please don't leave without giving us a like, and happy National Cream-Filled Donut.
Because I have like a thing for you guys know I love pastries.
I don't know. I made probably.
I don't love cream-filled donuts, and it's like the one thing. Like I'll eat it. Don't get me wrong. Like if you put it in front of me, I'm going to eat it. There's no question about that.
Randy?
I'm just not a huge cream-filled donut guy. Like it's just I like
Randy
the.
always brings the donuts, but
I like the apple fritter.
yeah, everyone knows that.
Even a Dutchie sometimes, but
Dutchies, yeah, I don't know. Tim Hortons got rid of those. Those were my favorite.
Why did they get rid? Anyway,
we did finally get into AMC. I don't know why they did. We finally got into AMC long, so we'll test this one out against the day's low right here. Take a little bit out on a scalp. We are long right now at 15. So right here, you can join me with this trade if you want to. We'll watch AMC here off these bottoms, down 3%. Let's see if it can get going. We initially took a 20, then we took a 50. So now our average price is right in here at 15 or so. So we're going to watch out for that. Boeing doing a dance as well. But with only 30 seconds to go, I want to thank obviously Randy, Maggie, Lucas as well. Thank you for all the hard work over there on that side of things. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. But yeah, it's been a fun one. And obviously thanks to Brendan for breaking some of that news to us as well. Watch out for the IPO. I've got my eyes on everything as well. And what was that?
Before we get out of here, Austin Waldo, so it is true. He works at this Sport Radar. I think that's pretty cool. So the IPO, you'll be pretty interested to see this IPO coming. I kind of get a feeling it could be a mover today. So with that, you're right, Randy. He just yelled, "Go Blue Jays." They're on an absolute tear, baby. World Series is coming. We're going to send you right over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. It's time for Memes and Movers.
Yo, welcome to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. What's the animation? Anyways, I'm your host, Trader Pratt. This is Miss V, the beautiful Miss V over here.
Thank you, Prad. And hey, guys, thank you very much for joining our show today. Please be active on the chat. Ask us anything. Write what you trade today. And of course, don't forget to give us a like. Well, Prad, it's